We would like to take a moment here at Redline Radio to thank all of our wonderful sponsors. Detroit Auto Parts is not only the official part store of Redline Radio, but it is also home of our original studio. They have two convenient locations on the east side. You can call 216-531-7373. Or on the west side, you can give a call at 216-398-7373. And as always, if you mention Redline Radio, receive 10% off your parts purchase. Growing Wings Adult Services continues to be an official sponsor of Studio Number 2 and Redline Radio. With over 7 years of experience of taking care of adults with disabilities in the Northern Ohio area, you can reach out to Lisa at 234-334-7547 today to see how Growing Wings Adult Services can help you and your family. And as testified by their many satisfied companies, Dynatech's diamond saw blades are the fastest cutting and longest lasting. Customer satisfaction is how Dynatech measures success, and their engineers are always available to help you troubleshoot and solve a problem on your job site. Dynatech is the only saw blade company recommended by the pavement marking manufacturing industry, and they're located in Elyria, Ohio. Dynatech is committed to being the top diamond saw blade company around the world. We stand behind our products, and with a warranty and customer service that keeps our customers satisfied and earns us the ranking of best in the industry. You can contact Dynatech today at 800-446-9001, or you can email them at sales@dynatech.com or visit their website, Dynatech. Pit Road Diecast, specializing in all current and past NASCAR diecast cars and model car kits. And you know what? It's not just diecast model car kits. Oh, no. They have movie cars too. You could just ask Bill about that. But for all your diecast or model car kit needs, you can call Dynatech at 216-355-2347 and mention Redline Radio and get 10% off your in-store purchase. And of course, always keep Sean from Pit Road Diecast in your thoughts, prayers, or however you want to keep her in your mind, as she is currently battling cancer. We say it on every show. You hear it. Incredible Keepsakes is the official merchandise provider of all things Red Line Radio and our show hosts. T-shirts, cups, binders, keychains, hats, mouse pads, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, you name it, and Incredible Keepsakes can make it and customize it for you. You can call 440-242-9648 or go to their website, IncredibleKeepsakes.com. And as Mike and Diane always say, cherished moments are made to last forever. Got a little storm damage from all those storms we had a couple weeks ago? Well, you know who to call, and it ain't Ghostbusters. It's Wiggins Construction and Home Improvement. Bathrooms, kitchens, windows, doors, sidings, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, are you catching a pattern here, people? Residential or commercial, you can call Will today, 440-731-7654, and you tell Will that Redline Radio sent you. Congratulations to Chad Moon for being nominated as the best male frontman in Northeast Ohio in the Cleveland Music Awards this past week. But Bad Juju is the official band of Redline Radio, covering all of your favorites from the 80s and 90s. To book Bad Juju today, you contact the one and only Chad Moon, and you can do that at 440-458-0209. Well, after you're done watching Bad Juju perform, or maybe while Will Wiggins is doing some construction on your house, you can just jet on over to Lucy's Pubs, located at 2218 Broadview Road in Cleveland. Michelle and the staff at Lucy's are always committed to giving their guests the best experience. Join them every Friday night for karaoke with the one and only Timbuktu, and of course, all hometown sports games. You can contact Lucy's at 216-675-0013. The Ohio Wheelman Series is the premier stock car racing series in Northeast Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana, and Redline Radio is proud to sponsor the Ohio Wheelman Series. There's no better way to get your company logo on some of the fastest stock cars in the state. Not to mention, local racers are some of the most loyal people when it comes to supporting our sponsors. Affordable Concrete Solutions is the way to get your driveway looking all spiffy after all them storms we've been having and all the water that's just destroying the concrete on your driveway, sidewalk, or maybe you just want to accent it, or maybe just seal it so that doesn't happen again. You can call them today at 440-714-1987 or email affordableconcretesolutions@gmail.com. Well, now you got your parts from Detroit Auto Parts, but who's going to put them on for you? Well, that would be Tuffy Auto Care. It's more than just a slogan. At Tuffy, we stand behind our work and promise that it will be done right, period, or we'll fix it for free. Tuffy is located at 649 Leona Street in Elyria. Your one-stop shop for vaping, CBD, and kratom in Elyria, Ohio is none other than Puff and Roll, your favorite local smoke shop located at 464 at North Abbey Road. You can contact them today, 440-444-4443. Ask for Dave and Dan, and when you do, you mention Redline Radio, and you get 10% off your purchase. AC not blowing cold? Heat not hot enough for you? Give Sensible Solutions HVAC a call, specializing in service, maintenance, repair, and installation. Give them a call today, 440-985-8387. Let's say you ordered a big shipment from Incredible Keepsakes and you need someone to get it to you. Well, that's when you contact All Pro Freight Systems. Large order freight shipping located in Northeast Ohio. One call hauls it all. All Pro Freight Systems located at 1200 Chester Industrial Parkway in Avon. Ask for Matt at 440-933-2222. If you're interested in advertising with Redline Radio, then give Dave a call at 440-503-0828. And for programming information, you can check out Redline Radio LLC.com or any of our social medias, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever they're calling it nowadays, Twitch, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And to take Redline Radio on the go to listen to all of our great music and shows, download the Redline Radio LLC Android app at the Google Play Store today.
R-E-S-P-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-C-T, T-S-C-C-T.
To another episode of the Women's Health Summit, brought to you by the Growing Wings Adult Care Services. They do special needs. If you have any adults, family members that want to go hang out with a bunch of cool kids, that's the place you want to go. This is also brought to you by Photography of Rosabelle for all your fall kids graduation family memory needs. Brought to you by Already. I clicked up, it was like, go. So happy. Chanel Uly's.
I could tell because you came after Aretha with all that energy. You were like, oh, good morning. I'm like, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. We changed times. Hello.
I did it again. I'm not getting used to this time at all. I need to go back to my 11 o'clock. My God. All right. So let's get back to it, dang it. So my name is Jessica Steffes. I am a lead compliance analyst with a local medical billing company. That's what my day job is, folks. But my night job is handling, or I should say, my second career path is being a founder of the Phoenix Tribe. We are an Amazon tribe of 154 Amazons at this point, 2 years in, or 1 year in. Yes, 1 year in. God, I feel like I've been doing this forever already. And I am also the founder of the Women's Health Summit, which we are now on Facebook, all on our own, with almost 700 members. Awesome. And we're plugging along right there on Instagram with our 55 followers. Woo, woo, woo. I do want to say that I want to shout out to the TP Women's Group on LinkedIn, as well as the Business Analytics professional group. They are big followers, big supporters of the Women's Health Summit. They have been in my instant messages asking questions. It's fantastic. I love you guys. Shout out to you guys. And you will not believe this, but Women's Health Summit's been busy. We now have a YouTube page where you can find all our old episodes over the last year. We are going to be doing some interesting things in the upcoming year that we are going to be using YouTube for. So please make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube, as well as Instagram. We could always use more followers for that, just to get the message out there. So I just want to let any new people that are watching our show, we are a podcast show that creates a safe environment to discuss real topics and gain real perspective as we grow in personal journeys. We are not specialists. We are not certified. We are not licensed. These are our personal stories, how we got where we're at. And this is why we're sharing our journey with you. So please understand, this is not a professional opinion. This is just a bunch of folks that went through some shit and got to tell you about it. So I just want to tell you one fun fact about me. I'm camera shy and I'm awkward. So that's all I got about me. How about you, Josh? What you got for you?
What do you mean?
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I mean, I just stay busy, man. I do too much.
Yes, you do.
I'm a coach. I'm a dad, girl dad, wrestler sometimes, machinist by trade.
That like by day you're a machinist, by night.
Yeah, machinist day and almost anything and everything after. After that, I just try to stay busy. I think fun fact about me, I didn't know I was autistic until I was 37 years old.
Interesting. That is interesting.
What?
That is interesting.
Yeah.
How'd you find that out?
Actually, my youngest, she's also a very high functioning autistic, and they said it runs in the bloodline somewhere. So, mom got tested, came up a negative. Dad got tested. It's like, hey,
that's where it came from.
Like, why didn't you say anything? I didn't know.
Has that impacted your life any different?
Yes, it explained so much about myself that I did not understand when I was younger, and that probably would have gave me a little bit more confidence as a kid, and not having to deal with half the stuff I dealt with if I would have known this is where it stems from. So now as an adult, I'm upfront about that stuff. I'm like, yo, look, I might come off a little weird. I'm a high function autistic, okay? So being a neurodivergent person, like,
hey, we like.
I gotta be upfront about it because I'm not going back to that confusion of between the ages of like 7 and 26. Yeah.
No, but I mean that's something that you can now bring to others. Is hey, this happened to me. I was a weird kid, but this is why I was weird.
Yeah, actually, one of my doctors that I go to for like my blood work, we had the conversation because she was having some trouble with her son, like paying attention and focus and stuff like that. And I'm like, he sounds a lot like me, like, especially at that age. And then I I was like, you might want to go get them tested, because like
That's awesome.
my mom
though.
didn't know.
What was the telltale though?
I'm
I'm 36. I'm scared.
for him, like, okay, so I think he was like maybe I think 7. I think she said he is. He's like 7 years old, and having trouble staying focused in class, hyper focused in certain other situations where you can't pull him away from something. And these are all things I had.
Mhm.
So like I'll be in class, and it's not that I'm not paying attention. It's just that I'm not stimulated enough.
Yeah.
And
So
you know what?
for-
I think
for that, I
that's another summit as far as I think some things are stemmed from the systematic having to sit. We were
Yeah.
never designed to just sit there.
sitting there all
and
day.
absorb, right?
So for me, like to sit there, I'm like this. I got to do something. So like
Yeah.
I'd
and then
fidget
you
or
were
I'd
a bad
tap it.
kid.
It wasn't so much as a bad kid. It was like, oh, you're causing a disruption, and I'm all
Right.
like, I'm just trying to focus. You know what I mean?
Right.
So as an adult, I learned to, have fidgets and things like that are practical. So it doesn't look like I'm like carrying around a kid's toy all the time, but sometimes that helps. Like you just need to. So this stopped me from doing like a lot of like rocking
Elise
back and
is gonna
forth in
go
my seat. You know, like
today. Today.
so. I mean, if I would have known that then. But back then, like teachers didn't know.
They
My mom didn't know.
anything
You know what I mean?
about
Like,
any of that stuff. We were
And-
just over hyper kids.
yeah. So I mean, by the time I got to high school, I kind of just embraced it as me just being awkward and weird and whatever, you know.
That's where I was.
but
That's where I was too.
as I started like after high school, going into college, getting into life, I was like, man, this like it caused a lot of bad situations, depression, and all that other stuff, and I didn't know why. Like being hypersensitive to energy of people and like environment, it would send me into like a panic attack, which really wasn't a panic attack, it was anxiety,
Mhm.
but all that manifests from just being overstimulated in a way that I didn't want to be, because you can't get away from it.
Right.
So I was like learning that if I would have known the stuff earlier, maybe I wouldn't have did some things, in my 20s and
That is something that I think is interesting. That's why I said it's almost worth an actual like summit just for that, because I will tell you there's a lot of ticks and twitch that I have over the years that I learned stuff about myself. I've never been diagnosed with it, but now I know how to move. Now I know how things affect me.
it's a big thing now that people are late coming to the table about. Like there's people that didn't know they were dyslexic until
Mhm.
they were an adult.
Are we telling your story, honey?
Like I
My
found
mama dyslexic.
yeah, I found
No,
out
but
in
like you
college.
really like for real, like you
Yeah.
really like saying like a lot of stuff, or whatever. Like that's so true. Like I literally failed the 8th grade. They placed me in the 9th grade because I would get 90s and above on my tests, but I would never do classwork or homework. Because I'm like,
Right.
y'all already know I know this stuff, whatever. I'm answering all the questions. Why do I have to do this?
Why do I have to do
Like
things
just give me the
twice?
test. Like, like, I literally
Right.
was like that. Like
And
It was
I agree. I
crazy.
think assessment tests aren't used enough.
And I was
to be
in, but no,
honest.
I was in the, like, it was 5 different groups. I was in the highest group. Like me and my valedictorian was in the same class, and I still felt like I already noticed. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's
Like-
the understimulation part of it,
Mhm.
because my daughter's like that too. Like she's on the opposite end of me, but we're still in the highest percentile. Like she'll learn stuff like out of nowhere, like just on a whim. She started teaching herself Japanese, and like I'm like, what?
See,
For me, I'm all like, no, like
Completely.
I can't do stuff like
Kill
that.
Bill.
But with her, like she grabs knowledge like
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing. She'll read like 4 or 5 books at a time and just
People that
like
do math like that. Just,
And-
And it's so crazy because like I was a trainer for one of my jobs, and I trained in a way that like autistic kids probably would like me, because as soon as I seen you kind of like zoned out, or like we were just sitting there, I'm like, okay, field trip, and then we'll get up and like whatever I was teaching or training on, we'll go see that like actually in that department, and like just
Yeah.
get them up
Good,
and like
yes.
out, and like okay, now you can
Yes,
still talk
that's
about like
good.
and
wake
that's
up.
what
you
helps
know?
me as like a fight coach as well, because like I developed a program based on how I would learn it. You know what I mean? So if I can learn it, was having learning deficiencies, someone who's in a in a different bracket should be able to pick up on this pretty quickly.
Should be the
but
operative word.
Again, like you said, like there's certain aspects, and we hit on certain ranges of the spectrum, and if you're over the age of 20, 25, you don't know that you have some of these things. Like you just don't know.
No, you don't.
Like I said, the percentile for anybody, let's say born from like 80, 81 to like 90, 92.
I mean,
we're just now figuring out like,
and
oh,
that's just the
wasn't common,
genetics.
for sure.
Thinking about the drugs and the
Yeah.
lifestyles and this and that. That's
it's
just
like,
genetics.
hey, it
You
was
didn't even know this was transferable. Okay.
it wasn't that we were bad kids, or we were weird or awkward or strange. It's just that we were dealing with these
Like
learning
I said, I
disabilities.
don't think we were designed to sit for 6-7 hours
Yeah,
and
no,
robotically move from one task to another. We weren't designed that way.
no, not at all. Like I
And
said,
these autisms and things like that is a red flag for us to realize this is what we're doing to our people because of the fact that we're literally systematically
yeah.
causing these triggers. Like
I think the education system needs to do a little bit better of a job, because, like, dude, how did I slip through the cracks? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
and it's not like I went to an underfunded school either. Like,
No, I watched my daughter graduate based off of badges because she wasn't passing her classes. So that was basically she had to do like community service or something to earn a credit to
Yeah.
do the same equivalent. You're
Yeah.
not making her learn it. You're just going to say, oh, well, she can't learn it. So we're just going to do something else.
Or I
Yeah.
think
A standardized test. I seen this one meme or whatever. It was like a standardized test or whatever. And it had like an elephant, a monkey, a fish, and I think a snake or something like that. And it said standardized test, climb the tree.
what?
If I wasn't born for that purpose, because everybody has a purpose. If I wasn't
Yes.
born for that purpose, how are you going to judge my worth based on a standardized test?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
That's why I said even with you being able to test out of most of all your stuff, that should have been an obvious answer that you're in the wrong class.
I was testing out of the stuff in the 4th grade. They wanted to put me in a private school, but I didn't want to go because it was all girls. And at that time, I had boyfriends. Not boyfriends, but like boyfriends.
You were,
Yeah.
I'm like,
the tomboy girl kind of hanging
Oh.
out with the guys. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
it got weird when I got older because I was like, oh, you do got a penis. Like,
I think another thing where at least where I've kind of found some of my learning things was moving a lot. I moved a lot, so the criteria that we was learning at one school, when we get to the
Different
next
than
one,
that,
is
yeah.
way
I
different.
was just talking about that.
Either be
even
behind or
with
forward, yeah.
The way that even with my adopted daughter.
Turn your
Oh, did I? No.
the side, not the top. This is the top. This is the side. This is where your mouth needs to be. Like, you see that right there? Okay, all around that part.
Wow.
Thank you, Elise, for pointing that out to me.
Different learning styles.
Right? Right?
All right, so let's go ahead and introduce Miss Elise.
That's a good topic right there. We're gonna have to
Yeah.
find a way to
Because we got like a
bring
nice
it to the
little meaty
subject, 'cause
15
we
minutes
all
out of
got-
that.
Yeah, no, I could go so far on it, because after figuring out that's what I was, I had to study it, and like I said, it just
No, I agree with you.
It really
because
turned a
we don't-
corner
we
for
don't
me.
talk enough about, the sensitivity of children. They're not that they're sensitive. It's that their stimulation is either under or over.
yeah. I mean, once we get into like the whole respect part, this plays a big part in that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
All right, so
It's a good thing we're across from each
I know,
other.
right?
I'd be throwing it at her for real. Where's that Nerf gun Lex has around here?
well, my name is Ulysses Dickerson. I am a comedian. I work in the health field by day. I don't really know if I could talk about that right now because I got some stuff going on. So I'm just saying I'm in the health. But no, I do a stand-up comedy or whatever, and it's so hard. It's like for real, I try to keep those worlds separate, but they just
You know what? I
Yeah.
feel like that's just like almost material.
listen.
Like you don't run out of material in the
But it's-
healthcare
but
world.
also,
I'm
you know,
just saying.
HIPAA and the fraternizing rule,
It's
because I have
not-
so many patients that want to come support me, but I can't invite
Oh,
you
got
to
you.
come to a comedy show. And then on
I
top of that, like
understand.
I'm
you just gotta
drinking
just so
and, like,
happen to show up.
I feel like, there's something going down at this one place.
Yeah, but then I don't want my because I don't want the patients coming back saying my material either though, because my recruiter, he used to be my recruiter or whatever. He left. I do travel. I travel for my job, and so my recruiter actually found one of my sets on YouTube when I was trying to audition for a festival.
Oh,
And
this is where social media
when I
sucks.
tell you, he called me about something like work related, and then he hung up and he called me right back. And he said, Ulysses, I need you to tell me the truth. And I'm like, oh my God, what? Like, I'm thinking I'm in trouble. I'm like, because I'm, real personable.
Right.
So I think I'd cross the lines with, somebody else. I'm like, I don't know. So he was like, do you do stand-up comedy? I said, oh my God, I'm gonna take it down. He's like, no, we looked at it in the office and, we thought you were hilarious. So mind you, they in like another state.
Uh-huh.
I ain't gonna say where, because again, I guess, but they're in another state. He said, yeah, we watched it in the office and this and that, whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm mortified because my recruiter, my employer is listening to me talk about some unseen thing and don't even know me well enough to judge like, okay, this is her separate from the employee. And
Like,
you know what I'm
she's
saying?
really going on these dates and doing all that. Like,
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh my God, I'll take it down. He's like, no, you're great. I'm like, I'm scared to send you to California because you might not want to work no more. I'm like, might not. But but then he hangs up and then texts me flaccid taco. Like, that's what I don't want at work. You know what I'm saying? Because that was one of my like punchlines for my set or whatever. I'm just like, oh my, I don't want to deal with work at like I don't want to deal
no,
with
I
comedy at
completely-
work.
no,
And it's
I
like they don't
completely understand you.
because I can't say or react how I want to authentically because I'm at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I do.
And then I can't control what they say or do because they a patient
Well,
sitting
and
there.
you
So
gotta watch how you say.
that's what I'm
how you-
saying.
yeah, because I agree with you.
Because people don't know me
I-
well enough, and then you just know me for a comic, or this person is just saying like this crazy stuff or whatever. Like you may judge me and think like, oh yeah, she just be busting it up before a real one. Do you understand that most of my sexual jokes during my comedy career, I was 3 years celibate? I can talk about a dick because I had one, but at that time, but you know what I'm saying? Like before you know me because of what you heard or you seen somebody.
And those things are forever. And
Exactly.
you know, those things are always forever.
Trust me,
You know?
Facebook don't let me forget because I looked at some stuff when I first started comedy, and I'm like, ugh, I was talking like that. That wasn't even funny. Like,
No, because even with my compliance job, the one thing I did not want to do is open myself up to the public. Like I have lived a very private life for a very long time, and they gave me the cringy heebie-jeebies to actually let people send me friend requests and be like, I don't know, even know I'm never gonna meet you. And that's
Jessica, you know how long you waited in my inbox?
I know. I'm like, is this even ever gonna be
Like same. Like I always say, I'm an outgoing introvert
Mhm.
because yes, I like we can talk about you. As soon as you ask me, so what do you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. You don't need to know.
Yeah.
And being in wrestling, like you really gotta protect that. Like,
Yes, you do.
Like I tell people all the time, I don't have a personal social media account other than just my Facebook. So if you're on my Facebook, that's because you know me.
Right.
Yeah.
Trust me, my Facebook is for people who know me. My Instagram is public for whoever. So I'm
Yeah.
very like
So
mindful of that.
I even went to the Facebook or the Instagram that I have up there. That is a character page.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I had to deal with this with a gym that I was working at, and they were like, "Oh, well, you're posting this, and it's in violation of your contract." I said, "Who posted it?" And they were like, "Oh, this," they said my Instagram, and I was like, "That's not me." And they're like, "What?" I was like, "That's a character." So I was like, "So you gonna yell at Denzel for not being a real cop?"
Right.
Like I was like, "That's what you're doing right now. You're yelling at a character that
No,
I play."
same.
You know what I mean?
Same.
So it's
Right.
like, so if you're following that, you're following a character. You're not following me because me doesn't have Instagram. Me doesn't have, Twitter. I have a Facebook page.
Right.
But you don't follow me on Facebook page because you're my employer and I'm blocking you. Like, yeah.
And I'm telling you,
Because
that's why
I'm
I keep
keeping whatever I
everything-
post on there private. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, so no, I get that 100%. And I know it's 10 times worse for ladies. Now I'm
I
telling
don't know, it's real bad because like for real, it's only a handful of comics that don't use a real name.
Yeah.
And so, like, to be quite honest, when I first started comedy, I used to go by Edie, like my initials, because my nickname. And then I just was like, nah, I ain't really, it's just not like working or whatever. And then somebody actually suggested that I just go by my first name, like Monique, because you never know another Ulysses for real.
Right.
Especially the way it's spelled. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, Ulysses. It's just something about those syllables. You just need one more syllable, like.
Right.
So Ulysses Dickerson. Nah, but yeah, I've been doing comedy 8 years.
It's got Dick in the name. I mean,
Man, listen,
just saying.
I can't wait to get married. You don't understand. Like, that's part of the reason why I can't wait to get married. Because listen, do you know how many times I've had like fun being made about name? Like Ulysses Dick her son.
Yeah,
and then I'm the tallest girl out of the 4 sisters. Like, we're like a signal cell. Like, it just goes like this. And so I'm the tallest. So I've been little dick, big dick, like baby dick, because I'm the baby girl. Like, just
That's no. I feel you. I feel you.
life.
Reason.
Hard.
So our final guest here in these shenanigans is Miss Rosabelle. Welcome back.
Go after all these shows, you got it right. I'm proud of you.
No, one at next time. No.
I was trying to save him every time too. I tried to save him.
Well,
But what's the deal? What's the deal, everybody? I am Rosabelle. I am an engineer in the aerospace industry. I've been doing
Shout out to
engineering
yourself.
for the last 7 years.
smarty pants. I kind of like add that aerospace. That's badass.
Yes,
Like,
man. I
not
know. I
just
often,
any engineer.
when people ask me, they be like, "Oh, what do you know?" I'm just, I'm a quality engineer in aerospace. They be like, I'm like, what? Like what I say? But it is. I guess it's a pretty
Something
big
about their
deal.
tax brackets, what you just said.
Saying, I'm with her when the zombie apocalypse happens. She knows how to build shit.
So oddly enough,
Me and all my engineering friends.
I deal with, like, all the stuff I do machining wise is majority aerospace.
That's why I was
Is it
pretty
really?
happy when you said that. I
Holy
love me a
shit.
machinist.
Yeah,
If you
I-
don't see,
I take
People
what they
jumping
do
in on
and,
it.
and make it to blueprint.
See, we kind of parallel because I'm a Capricorn.
but I'm quality. So
Yeah.
I'll
So you just make sure you do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I send
sure
it
it's
back
right.
and she's like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Send it to space.
Well, now that we know everybody.
Wait, I ain't even done. If you cut me off,
What do you got?
yeah, because I'm a quality engineer by day, but I'm a photographer. I'm a mom. I'm an herbalist.
You a what?
I'm an herbalist.
Oh, okay.
Yep, an herbalist, a friend. You know,
I need some
more than
CMOS.
just that. I don't make CMOS. I'm an herbalist, but I don't make CMOS. But I can point you to somebody who got some.
Okay. That's some mullein. That's
Yep.
some elderberry.
Yep, all that. Because during this season,
Burdock root.
She's got a whole, like the whole back of the garage is just all herbs. It's just crazy. She takes pictures for me all the time because I'm like, I'm going to do that. You're going to teach me how to do that.
Dandelion root.
this season, yeah, you need all of them.
She
You
brewing
need all
some
your-
Blue
Yeah.
butterfly tea.
She brewing some stuff. She a witch over there. You know that.
There we go. Thank you. Let's get into respect.
Let's talk about respect. All right. So I'm going to go around and now I'm going to start with you, Rosabelle, since we went
Okay,
the
put
long
me
way
on the
around.
I'm sorry, this looks so horrible real quick.
What?
Because I just noticed like where like my arm is in this table sitting. I have a hernia. So when I'm going like this, people on camera don't think that I'm doing something inappropriate. Because I caught myself looking at it and I'm like trying to rub it in. That don't look right.
No telling what anybody's going to do on this show. No telling. So, Rosabelle, in your opinion, what is respect?
Respect is hard to define, but I don't know. Respect to me, understanding. We can kind of hash out our opinions, but don't try to project yourself onto me.
So, in your
Coming
world,
together,
what does respect
unity.
look like?
Respect looks like us here right now. We all respect each other. We in each other's presences. As we sit here and we discuss how we feel, we're not going to tear each other down for that. We're not gonna scoff and mock, and we're not gonna do none of that stuff. This is an open, safe space. We we welcome people. You know, that's respect to you, being welcoming.
So what about you, Eunice?
Respect. All I can think about, like, when you think about the word or whatever, is just like that age old lesson that, you know, your parents would teach you, like, treat others how you want to be treated.
We live by the
You
golden
know,
rule
and,
here at Women's Health Summit. It is the number one rule to live
Yeah.
by.
And I say I'll always treat you how I want to be treated first, and then I'm gonna treat you how you treat me. Cause I'm petty. I ain't gonna lie, I'm petty.
No, I will say you decide how we gonna act. I say that to my kids all the
Listen,
time. You decide.
I promise you, like, the beginning of this deja vu. Beginning of this year, I put myself on fuck this up if you want to mode. Cause I'm like, cause you hate having to, like, protect your authentic self
Right.
by basically shrinking to accommodate the environment that you're in.
And
Yes.
that is not
And so
respect.
exactly. And so, like, me, I don't, you know, in my mind, go out of my way to be any type of way to somebody or whatever. So when you are uncomfortable with yourself and those uncomfortable triggers start making you treat me a certain type of way because I'm comfortable with what you're insecure with, then yeah, we're gonna have a problem. And my petty, like, is not that, like, I'm gonna treat you how you treating me, because honestly, that could just be me leaving you the fuck alone.
No, I
So,
think that in and of itself, some people think that that's not the whole be the bigger person thing. No, that's I'm not gonna fuck with you no more. That's
I'm always the
literally
bigger
being
person.
the bigger person. Is I'm
treat this
just-
accessibility accordingly,
that-
because you don't have
that's
to.
exactly
You get to.
right.
You don't have to be my friend. You get to be my friend.
Exactly.
Like, if I
That's a good way to say it.
and honestly, like, I can't speak on nobody else's conception. I've said this before. Like, I was asked to be here. Like, my mom asked my father, "Hey, can we have a baby?" And they made me. So from my conception, I was asked to be in somebody's life. I'm not gonna force myself in yours.
Mm-hmm.
Like, absolutely not.
What about you, Josh?
Respect is boiled down to just understanding my vulnerability and not taking advantage of it.
That part.
That's a good way. And technically it really is you accepting someone for who they are. And even if they're different or you don't agree with what they're saying, you're still accepting what they're saying as that's their truth.
Yep.
Whether it's your truth too, that's not it. It's you accepting others as they are, not how you see them, perceive them, want them to do, just as they are. How do we use it? How do we show respect?
I would say perfect example. Like, I didn't know, you know, you were artistic or nothing like that, whatever. But I have to kind of, like, stop myself from hugging people. Like, I'm a huge hugger, and so that's why, like, I have to, like, be intentional and remember handshake first. And if they kind of bring it in, like, okay, we can bring it in. But just showing respect, because, like, everybody wasn't raised like you, so just having a kind of like a baseline for, like, social exchanges that everybody can kind of understand, like, hey, I'm not a threat, I'm not trying to be extra, I'm not, you know what I'm saying, like, hey, I'm just trying to, you know. So yeah.
So what do you think? How should you show respect, Josh?
It's just having that understanding, like, okay, I'm in a different situation, and I'm not going to assert what I know or you know, try to flex on it. You know, like, just being present in the space and reading the room.
I think that's
Like-
most important.
Like, that's really
is
gonna show, like,
paying attention to the other energies around you.
and it's just being more mindful of, like, not, like you said, not everybody's raised the same way, not everybody learns the same way, not everybody you know, has the same stimulations. Like you said, I gotta stop from hugging people.
Yeah.
And for someone like me, that's fine. You know, I'm all like, I don't, like, I'm gonna meet you wherever you're meeting me at, because I'm a balanced type person. Other people, they're like, I don't want to be touched. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yep.
But-
and it doesn't even matter. Like, they might even not want to shake your hand. They just
Yeah.
don't want.
They don't
you
do
know?
well with touch.
Right.
Cool.
And you can't like force, like, oh, they're weird. No, that's, you know, like, like, for me, like, showing respect is just going, like, okay, that's you, cool. I have the choice to either continue on with that or just walk away from that. Like, so just having that understanding of,
I think a lot of things that people do is they don't think before they speak, think before they do.
Yeah.
They just do, or they just say. and then they come back with a, oh my bad, like that covers it. But really,
And if you get that,
there are some people that do. I almost admit.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
You're lucky, you
Yeah.
know. But I mean, if you were accountable, okay, he's not going to push that button.
I thought he was.
I thought he was.
Honestly, don't even know where it's at right now.
We
He about to
did that
pitch
whole
around. He
thing.
about to pitch around.
Jay.
Nope.
Oh, I like that. Mark said respect is mutual coexistence.
I
So, like,
agree. I agree, Mark.
what's the
Very
video?
good.
The fluffs arrived. Okay. But
Gotta catch up.
But not like even like okay, so on one comic friend, whatever, like shout out to Liz Blanc. We were like pretty much like the tallest comics in Cleveland for a while. I think she's moved to, out of state or whatever. But she had a problem with touch. And the one time she told me, I thought she was joking because she was so uncomfortable. She was laughing and she was telling me. You know what I mean? And so from that point going forward, like even when I forget, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, whatever. But she'll kind of like meet me, like she knows, like, okay, I forgot, my
Right.
bad, this and that, whatever. She worked with me on that, whatever. Like, and I thank her so much because for real, like just adapting and just being respectful of somebody else because you want them to be respectful of how you feel about certain things.
So, how do we misuse respect? How do we misuse the word? How we misuse other people, ourselves?
I feel
What
like
is in a way do we disrespect?
I don't know. I feel like sometimes when people when you have a difference in opinion from somebody, it's not that they don't respect you because they don't think the same as you. But sometimes I think that could kind of cloud our perception of respect.
No, I agree.
Because they're not necessarily saying that you're wrong, and they're not wrong either.
And I notice some people, at least in this timeline, in this day and age, are that quick to lose friendships over, oh my God, they don't agree with me. I'm not going to be friends with them anymore. So that's the picture that you want to paint for your life, is to have everybody agree with you, So that's in another way disrespecting yourself, because if you're not willing to be open, then you'll never grow. And growing is the whole point of being here, is growing and learning and being better than we were yesterday. So if those are things that you're not willing to do, I completely agree that it's so flimsical the way that people just dismiss each other because we don't share the same opinions. That's one of the reasons I enjoy these summits, is I get all these different walks of life in front of me and giving me new perspective on what I don't live every day, but it's out there. And I think that's part of being respectful, or being disrespectful is assuming just because you look a certain way, or assuming that you dress a certain way, that you are in a certain community or in a certain environment. That's usually how that, me? I don't know. Okay. But that's how I think we disrespect each other, is for me to just go, oh, because you chose to wear hoops today, you like one of those, That's like, just because.
I love how you say she's saying it to
And
her,
you-
and I'm the one with the
I'm like, don't worry.
That's
not even
Are you
like-
trying to sub me,
Okay,
Jess?
see, no, this is the universe getting me. Joke's on you, Jess.
But no, I agree. There's a rule and there's an exception. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because like perfect example, like I got into it with the community real bad about this one. I just disagreed that people were born like that.
Mm-hmm.
Only because I would rather you say you chose your hobby than you were forced into a lifestyle because of your birth.
Right.
And only because there's other sexual preferences that will couple themselves in there if you're allowed to say that you were born like this. People who don't really practice I'm trying to say this politically right without being like wrong, but I like people who don't have the same sensible sexual appetite. Should I say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Will really gross and all the
Mhm.
stuff, whatever. They can say they were born that way.
Right.
Like I can't help but to like what I like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so like, so because of that, they just was like, well, they went in on me, like tore me apart, and I was okay with it, whatever. I get it. Like my thing is, just because that's my belief or my experience or my, you know, thought process or whatever, doesn't make it to where that narrative is not true. Because I also said that sometimes I feel like they were forced into that decision or lifestyle because of previous SA.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why they like or don't like a certain sex or whatever. And
I've seen people go from one extreme to
Oh,
the
yeah.
other on just an essay. You know what I mean?
and that's what I was like. I was definitely humbled because soon after that I met a young lady who was a lesbian. One had never had any other sexual experience with a man, like ever. Always liked a woman. Grew up in a 2-family household. Was never assaulted or anything. She just always liked women. So all of what I thought on how people got to that point
Mm-hmm.
wasn't her story. This was purely her decision. She enjoyed it. She has
Yes.
never wanted to experience anything different. And when I explained to her, like, you know, the situation or whatever, like, even she was like, understanding, I can get how you can understand, like, how you can get that from this and that. And whatever. But like, and she was my unicorn. So however you are,
That's why I
however
don't
you got
believe in
there,
absolutes.
Yeah.
There's always one.
Yep.
it is. It's
You
always
mean
an
it,
exception.
there's
It's always an
one.
exception.
There's at least one. That's
Because
why I
I'm
don't
usually a
like
man's
that.
first exception for a real female friend. Like, one, I ain't trying to smash you. Two, you can't smash me. Like, we can just have this exchange for whatever reason we having this
Right.
exchange, and that can be it. It ain't gotta always be sexual. So, like, even me being a female in comedy, like, I'm out late night or whatever, like, with a crowd full of dudes. Like,
Right.
I ain't out there busting it open for none of them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's always an exception.
There is always an exception.
And we don't know everybody, and we don't know everybody's story.
No. So, in your guys' opinion, how is it that we disrespect or respect our bodies?
Mm.
Oh.
Speaking of
Not sitting the fuck
essays,
down, but I did this weekend. Not sitting down. I
because
needed
part
that
of
rest.
it, part of the things that we don't actually put out there is it's not just about your healthy eating habits, your healthy intake of whatever. It's what you expose your eyes to. What do you expose your ears to?
Your senses, yeah.
You know, all of your senses. What are you doing to disrespect your body?
I ate some bad coochie in my college days. It was horrible. I could've never-
Probably turned you off from being a lesbian. That was Ulisa's sliding door moment. She was like, "Not for me. Not for me. That's okay. I'm good." Had a bad taco. Didn't work out well.
That
Food poisoning will do that to you.
hard.
So, respecting your body, according to the internet, is appreciating and reminding yourself of the parts of your body that you like the best.
Excuse me.
No, it's-
Talking
I'm
back
like-
to
like the rest.
talking back to negative thoughts. Pay attention to how often you find yourself bashing your body, and don't let those thoughts go unchecked. So that is one thing
still
that
got
I've
a
been.
booty.
See, I will tell you my story. From the time I was 16, I was told I had good birthing hips. So that sat with me throughout my adult life. And it wasn't until I was about 37 years old that I finally accepted that this shape is my shape. These girls, I don't care how much weight I lose, they're not going nowhere.
As a trainer, when I work in, like, let's say like 90% of my clientele is female based, and they're like, "Oh, I want to lose this, I want to lose that," and I look at them like, "Look, there's certain
Tell us the
parts,
truth.
there's certain parts of a woman you can't get rid of,
Damn, I just
and
hate
it's
the fact-
based on your ethnicity, it's
Yeah.
based on your genetics." I'm like, so if I got a 5'2" Puerto Rican woman coming in for training, I'm like, "I'm sorry, mama, you just
You're not going to get rid of those
them hips ain't going nowhere. I can make them look nicer."
a little curvier, but they
But
still
they're
go
not
there.
they're not leaving. You know, they're not going anywhere. Like, "Oh, I want to get rid of this." Like, I'm sorry, you can't. I can just make it look nicer.
Farmer.
That's it.
But that's the thing I think is part of the
Do
problem.
salsa better.
You know,
So I got a question, because like that right there, when you talk about like how do we respect or disrespect our bodies, I got a real big issue with women being judged for wearing revealing clothing in certain settings.
Okay, so I have a soapbox about this, and I actually was on my soapbox earlier today with my son. My shout out to Eric because he hears a whole lot of this, and he probably don't give a damn about half of it.
Can't process
But
most of it.
but he's my go-to person. But I made the comment that it's obscene, public obscenity for a woman to show her breasts in public, but men show their chests all the time. Why is that not public?
That's why I didn't give a damn when I was breastfeeding. You hungry?
So that's part of, like, for instance, at
Yes.
school.
Why, yes, I am.
At school, my biggest issue is the fact that girls are demeaned for having their stomach showing, but yet we see shirts and skins all the time when guys are playing basketball. So it's the stomach of a woman is sexual, but the chest of a boy is not. That's a contradiction, and in my opinion, because of the fact that it should be the same as far as your body. What you see is sexual. The only reason it's indecent for a woman to show her breasts in public is because of the fact that it seems to be uncomfortable for men, because men have sexualized breasts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah, and this is crazy because like in Colorado, which those group of people,
Those are special people.
I'm just saying like those. I'm just gonna push them over there. Those group of
I
people.
love
was
my
refer-
Colorado fans, but you a bunch of people, yeah.
No, not the Coloradoans.
Okay.
I'm talking about this
There's
specific group of
a
people that I was
certain set of
referencing.
people.
No, I was referencing the people I was speaking of earlier.
Oh, okay.
The ones that kind of, actually made it a law to where young girls could be topless in Colorado up to age 11 because of their
Well, I mean, I know we take.
preferences.
So,
So,
I mean, we
Sam,
do take
yeah,
but at the same
pictures of our
time-
babies without shirts on and stuff. Like, we don't sexualize our children.
we
but
don't. But
we
the
don't.
sad part is in
Yeah.
2023,
Yeah.
so many people do, and it's
I
so
know.
sad because I was even thinking like when I was at the I kid you not, blew my mind. Purple Smoke. I was at the beach with my cousin and my little niece. She's like 2 or whatever. She's playing in like this little like dent of water that wash up on the shore, and she's like it's shallow enough for her to play in. It's like real big, whatever. And so she's playing with the sand or whatever, and she starts bouncing like her butt in the water. And I'm looking at my cousin like, you ain't gonna stop her from doing that. And like, cause I'm thinking to myself like, yeah, you know, she 2, you know, you kind of want to
You want
get
to
her,
curve
you want
that
to
twerk
nip it in the bud,
early,
exactly like you want
as early as possible.
And she explained to me, and it's so crazy, like the changes that you go through as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
She explained to me, she's like, why should I stop her? She's playing. You're looking at it like that because you're an adult and you know better because you know how people would look at her doing that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But she's playing. Why do I want to make her less innocent when she doesn't have to be?
So the only problem with that, especially with females, is education.
And that's the thing.
It doesn't matter if they're little or not. It's not like, for instance, my daughter threw her friend a 18-year-old birthday party last year. I was working. I come home, nobody's in the house. No note, no nothing. They just split. They went down probably about 5 blocks to the gas station to get some snacks and stuff. And I flipped the fuck out because I live in suburbia. That don't mean shit anymore.
Oh, absolutely not.
And I said, just because you went as a group, there's 5 of you. There's guaranteed to be 5 of them. They've counted you. If they want you, they will take you in whatever means possible, and you have no say in it. So instead, I, as a single woman, go anytime I go anywhere. I don't care. I'm telling a friend, I'm telling my kids, I'm telling whoever. I don't need to post it on public forums where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I tell somebody because I don't want to be that woman that they find my car and they don't know where I was or where I was going. I don't want to be that person. So I agree, but I feel like in this world that we live in, we can't hide behind old moral ethics.
And it's kind of like right now with 2023 or whatever, it's like they don't even allow you the coincidence of the conversation to happen because it's pretty much everywhere. Like you got to have these conversations with kids nowadays, like way faster than you had to back in the day. Like, don't get me wrong.
Old people are having these sexual conversations before sex ed, just so that because sex ed is not enough.
It's not.
It's not appropriate.
And you can't control what they're teaching your child, because a lot of parents in Chicago was pissed that they were teaching 5th graders about sex education with an emphasis on anal sex and masturbation. Yeah. 5th graders. 5th graders.
Interesting.
5th graders. And they didn't even talk to the parents before teaching this.
Yeah. I mean, masturbation's one thing, but
Masturbation and anal sex is not.
But why would
produce a
you?
child. That's the reason why it's a focus.
Yeah,
on
that's
that.
that's an introduction, because in 5th grade, dude, I don't even remember thinking about
No, so it
anything
was
other
6th
than
grade.
like
It was always 6th grade.
I'm trying to be a Ninja Turtle, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm still
trying to figure out how to make that happen.
That was me at 12. I still wanted to be like Shira. You know, it's just that stuff anymore.
And that's why I say, like, different
got
parents.
girls wearing going and getting their nails done like yours, and
I was
getting all
definitely.
that.
Listen, my child gonna be mad at me because I'm old school. You ain't getting no color hair until you 18. You ain't getting no weave until you 16. Nails is definitely gonna be when you can pay for them. So trust me, I'm gonna be. They gonna be mad.
Girl,
at
dad,
me.
I'll pay for it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You need okay. Okay.
But no, my dad and my mom had to talk with me at 4.
You're more than just moral support.
Yeah,
over there.
girl, dad, I'm buying nails. I'm sorry.
He's buying that dress. He's buying that dress.
But no,
You
they
know,
had to wait till 15.
Yeah.
You know, 15,
No,
16 before we did any of that stuff. And
we
then
weren't even thinking about that then. You know.
Right.
I think
We were
that's
thinking of how
neighborhood
cute we
specific too.
looked.
I think a lot of that stuff is neighborhood specific.
I think so
Yeah.
too.
Neighborhood
even-
specific, and now with the big media
I
influence.
kept my mouth shut because they weren't my kids. But when those girls came over for homecoming and prom, I'm like, why is there more of your thigh than there is of your dress? Like, and you're spending thousands of dollars on these dresses that don't even fit your body. Like, what? As my mom used to say, old fashioned, why keep what's a mystery a mystery? Like, for real, there is absolutely, if a strong wind hit, you're exposing all your goodies to everybody. That's part of respect. And you know, I don't even think that it's so much, because I've seen a lot of the different, like, it's exposing your body more than you need to.
But who's to say how much you need to?
Right. But I'm also saying, what are you trying to do by doing that? Are you trying to show the plump of your breasts for who? Who are you trying to show the plump of your breasts to?
I don't know if it's even. I just think that's the way stuff is made. You guys just don't have a
That's
lot
why,
of
like, that's just the
options. You know what I mean? Like
influences
going,
now, like
you know,
our
going-
fashion
going
influences
going
are
shopping
now.
with my daughters, like you guys don't have a lot of options when it comes to.
No, it's all like,
Because every designer maker's going to make the top super low cut, like, and it's like if you don't want to wear that,
Cutting each other.
no.
you
You're
don't
looking
get
at-
another option. Like,
But
you
it's,
know?
but it's
Right.
but it's on purpose for the size of the dress or the clothing. Because I kid you not, when I was bigger, like about 50 pounds ago, I kid you not, I used to go to Forever 21. I'm like, damn, can I have an outfit that I can wear past 6? What the fuck is this?
Well,
Like,
what
no,
was
for real,
the-
like
what was that other the other was a
H&M.
I don't remember it. Maybe it was, well, that one. I remember that one.
No, but I'm
But
just
there was
saying-
always those big girl. I always had the ugliest clothes, and when I was a big
Dibs.
girl.
No, we're
Athletes
not
do
there.
it.
But that's the way it's
Like,
like,
why I
it's
can't wear
designed that
anything?
way though. It's like,
Like-
oh,
like
if you're
if
bigger,
you're-
I don't want no low
sheer.
cut stuff on you if you're bigger.
Right.
And then on the
Conservative
opposite
clothes.
fact, it's
And
like
don't let me get
Let
started
me
on the
get you.
shoes.
yeah,
I'm a
it's like on
12.
the
You
opposite
know how
side of
long
things, it's like
I was in the kitten heel.
Girl, I can't even imagine what it was like for your
It wasn't
shoes,
until
'cause
honestly,
I thought my
this is the reason
10s
why
were
I can't be
bad.
homophobic, respectfully, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have the heels I got now. Like, shout out to the transgenders. man, it's just stuff like that. Cause that's the reason why I got some cute ass shoes at home and not them fucking motherboard 12s that they're trying to get me back
Matilda,
in the day.
Motherboard.
like school marm, the school marm.
She had them
With the
Jesus
big
floats
block heels?
was.
With the
big
square
black-
toe, like, and they would come in the color of
square
pearl or
Square
tan.
heel and they creak
The Walk
every
on
time
Water
you walk.
2.0.
They creak.
We see you.
I hate it,
Like
but
they were
no,
Dr.
I ain't personal, whatever.
Schultz's.
Like, let me wear what I feel comfortable in. If I feel comfortable with having my cheeks out, let me have my cheeks out. If I feel comfortable with having my breasts out, let me have my breasts out.
And I'm
But
not
at the
saying
same
that's
time, everybody has to be raised that, okay, not everybody has to be raised. Let me correct myself. I was raised that what you saw on TV was for pure entertainment. That's not how life really is. And I learned life in real time in my own experiences. So I was like, even for TV, it never influenced me or whatever a whole lot past the point of where I couldn't control how I conducted myself due to the stimulus. Okay.
right.
But That was a lot.
Well, I'm like, okay, well, I said then because then like now social media is like boom. Because I know I'm the youngest here.
No, I know
Maybe I don't know how old you are.
Oh no, you're younger than me.
But I think I'm younger than you. So, like, now it's even different because we got all of this stuff right here, right? Then we just had like the TVs and maybe a computer. Now it's like,
At
At your
fingertips.
fingertips,
how can
man.
you
Well, not
keep
only
that? How can
that,
you
but, like,
separate that?
Like what they're doing is they're making the shopping websites super cheap, and the material they're using is
Super
super
cheap.
cheap.
Yeah.
Rainbow is the backing of all these daggone clothing companies because Rainbow back in the day, you have one wash, and you better let it hang dry.
Rainbow was that
Dot.
I'm telling you. But at the same time, whatever, like that's what I said, like I think we have a more of a responsibility as a community. And I say this and I preach it to like my lungs collapse. Bring back the village. It take a village to raise these kids.
sure
Like,
does.
why
Stop
are we gotta be
being
like,
offended.
don't be in my business? You can't tell me. It take a village because sometimes when I speak to certain kids, I'm not even a parent.
Yeah.
I don't have kids of my own yet. Like, so when I talk to these kids or whatever, like I can sometimes get a message across to them that their parents might not be
Oh
communicating
no,
in a
all
way
of, all
because
of my
of
kids'
emotion or whatever.
uncles. That's
Yeah.
how they'll. I literally just took one of my daughters over, hung out with one of my guy friends that's her uncle, and literally we just spent the whole entire time. And he's like, every time you look in the mirror, I want you to say this. Every time you do this, I want you to do this. You know, and giving that reinforcement of you're beautiful. Stop trying to be beautiful. You know, you're already there. You already are an
There's
amazing
nothing
person.
you can buy. There's nothing you can put on.
You
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
need to do.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
need more lashes. You don't need all of the gook on your face. You're beautiful as is, and you have the soul to match. That's enough.
Let that be the seasoning, because ain't nothing wrong with seasoning.
Absolutely.
But no, I was saying bring back the
Talking about
village.
that
I'm talking about the village because, like, when is the last time you seen a family eat at the table?
Well, mine's a converted table. My breakfast bar is where we eat and we stand around the breakfast bar because ain't nobody want to sit at the table no more.
I just
But
ate
we-
at the table with y'all.
Shut up. But I'm just saying, whenever, like, that, when you sat down at the dinner table, especially, that's where you had all your social education from.
And catch up.
And you
That's
knew
where you
how,
caught up with everybody.
Yeah.
I think the reason.
and that's where you
this-
didn't show out so much because
this-
you was getting attention from your parents. You knew at dinner time, that's when I'm gonna get their attention. This is what I'm gonna, like, you knew, like, this is where you was gonna get your stuff from. So you didn't look for it elsewhere. You wasn't trying to act out in school because you wasn't getting attention at home. You wasn't trying to, impress your friends because you know your own personal morals, ethics, and values within yourself.
I think work schedules is taking that away. I think that's what affected the village portion of it, is because now the village has to work. Because like
On
I
top,
know
everybody worked, but the village has to do more work because of the single check in the household.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's busted up now because like I know me, that I'm working like 15, 16 hours a week or a day. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't get a lot of time to stop and sit. So to have like a dinner time where we sit down with the family and go over all those, that doesn't happen. But me being busy, I know, okay, Sundays, I'm going to FaceTime both my daughters. Hopefully they're not too busy to answer. We're going to talk about the week, go into the next week, and then I'll see you guys again on Sunday. If not, if you need me before that, you know how to reach me. You know what I mean? It's like, I try to keep that kind of a schedule.
But how many times is effort like that put in for these kids though?
And it's not, and like I said, that's the part where we go back to the A word, accountability.
Can't find the button. I can't find it.
I think Lex is gonna get mad at you now. We went out of our way to make that. But no, I agree with you. But see, the other thing that I think is a contributor is the fact that you now have parents competing, and which is sad. I will tell you, one of the hardest things for me was going to a parent class, learning all that stuff, and watching my ex do the absolute complete opposite of what they told us to do. And you can't control that.
Well, then that goes back to our topic of respect. You
Yes.
start one way, he
It's the
wants to do it another way. We need to come to an agreement,
Right.
and not confuse our child.
Right.
Like, but if you don't respect my opinion, then this is
Right.
what ends up happening. You know what I mean? So
Well, and expecting it to be one-sided, like
Yeah.
now because I have custody, you have to do what I tell you to do, and I think that's wrong as well because that doesn't give you some extra uber power over the situation.
Yeah.
No, you know what it does? It makes you 100% responsible for the situation in case it goes south. You are, regardless of. I'm waiting for the crickets. We had that for a minute on one of our podcasts, but no, I really do think that it is a respect thing because you can't put what we did to each other aside for the sake of our kids. I'm not saying you have to like me. I'm not saying you have to trust me, but if I'm being awarded full custody, there's a reason for that. And I have been warded the responsibility by the courts because I'm the stabler parent at that moment. And that's where I don't believe that you should have sole custody of your kids. I don't think that's
Ohio being the way it is, where like on my end, I can only speak from my experience.
You had
on
that's
my-
what I find interesting.
on
is
my
you
side
had
of the fence,
exact opposite of
dude,
mine.
like it's Ohio being the mom only state. You know what I mean? Like it ruins dads that actually give two
Yeah.
shits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I'll never
I'm
forget
not
that guy
saying that
crying in
it's,
the media
I'm not
about
saying
his
that
child
there's
being
not
killed by
those
his
bums
boyfriend
out
and
there
girlfriend.
that
Like, I'll
you
never
know.
forget that.
No, but I do think it's
Like
it's
there are
wrong.
bums out there that just you gotta take them through the courts. But like you were saying, you didn't respect me enough that you did get sole custody or you are granted custodial parenting over our children, but you don't respect me enough to allow me to work with you.
Right.
You don't respect me enough to go, okay, whatever our situation isn't a situation anymore, but we still got this to deal with. You still don't respect me enough to hold up my end of the bargain because you automatically believe
You're
since
gonna
we're
do-
not
yeah.
together no more, then you ain't gonna be doing nothing. And it's like, no, that's not
Right.
not the case.
Until
you know?
I do fail at that, it shouldn't already be assumed I'm going to fail at that.
Right. And then,
You know?
and then to fix the narrative, like I said, again, this is something I believe in and something I'm actually working on with a group that, the Fathers Act here in Ohio, making this a 50-50 state. Why? Now I am accountable. I can't back off. I can't run away.
You found it.
You know what I mean? I can't back off. I can't run away from it because if it's 50-50 and I'm not holding up my 50, then
Yes.
you can take me through the court and,
Yes.
and now it's a civil matter.
Yes.
And I'm gonna end up having to pay more than I would in child support, being it 100% mom and dad gets in where he fits in. You know what I mean? Like if that law changes, you look at other states that are 50-50 like that, there's no custody issues.
Nope.
You don't see all them kidnapping Amber Alerts go out around Father's Day. You know what I mean? Like my phone blows up during Father's Day and I ignore it because I already know what it is. You know what I mean?
Never paid attention to that.
Like you're not kid. Like
That's
you
sick.
can't kidnap your own kid. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you can't. I don't know how that's a thing, but in the state of Ohio, it is.
It is. It very much so is. Yep.
I can go. I could take my daughters out, and if a wild hair gets in her craw, bro, all she has to do is pick up the phone and say, "I kidnapped him," and I'm face down in handcuffs. They don't understand what the hell's going on.
No.
And that, like,
Unless you're married.
and then you
But that's a
have
whole
to
different thing.
but
Gotta
then
be married.
you're having to prove
Because you
Right.
can have
your
kids
own
that ain't yours.
innocence.
yeah, I'm guilty until proven innocent. With my yellow babies, I can't. Like they already think. You know what I mean? Like
He said with his yellow baby.
they see me and then they see them and they're like, "Excuse me, where's your father?" And they're like, "Right there. What's wrong with you?" Like,
No, I have a friend that's like darker than you, and her baby like is
They
her
look
her,
just like
her
you.
husband at the time whatever like was white, and so she looks like a white baby, and so they would think
Yeah.
that the mom is the nanny.
no, 100%, dude. Like
Yeah.
I had
It's
to
true,
up until they were older and they started to get into their like the tanners, like they tan their skin or whatever. From birth to like maybe 12, we'd be at the park and I got people looking at me like,
I can't even.
Like, case in point, we
Talk
were
about
at,
respect.
I was at Strongsville
Right?
Mall. I'm
And
sitting there.
assuming shit.
I'm sitting there at Strongsville Mall. My youngest was like a baby, and she's like crawling all over me and trying to do this. And then my oldest is getting mad because she wants to leave. So I got one baby crawling and making noise. I got another one screaming, and I'm trying to drag them out the store. And this lady looks at me as I'm calming them down and goes to my oldest and goes, "Oh, you're pretty." And she's like, "Oh, thank you." She's like, "Who's this?" She was like, "Oh, that's my sister." She's like, "Okay. And is this your dad?" "Yeah." "Well, where's your mommy?" I'm all like, "She just told you I'm her father. Why you need to know where her mom's at?"
Capable, right?
Right? And then like she proceeded to stand there until their mother came out the store. And then she saw how light their mother was, and then saw me and was like, "Oh." I'm like,
I
"Oh."
can imagine picking
I would
a
have
team.
I had to walk away. I was like,
What?
"Take the girls, please. I need to go. I need to go."
I would
Decompress. Decompress.
Because again, at that time, I didn't understand my autisms and things like that. So
Triggers and yeah.
I'm about to go off on this lady, and then I look like the crazy angry black dude in the mall.
Always. Always.
Well, I think that also puts pressure on it too, is when you have that perception already. And then if you actually are justified in your feelings, you
Yeah.
still are wrong for having, and you were the one insulted. Like, I still don't understand
Trust
that
me.
concept.
And again, like I said, it just keeps going back
Right.
into respect and like just
Right. I would agree.
Yeah. And then on top of that, like, this is, I mean, I get it, like, be a part of the village, but like also be respectful in people's boundaries. Like, I'm a big person, like I told you earlier. Like, seek understanding to be understood. Like, I wouldn't assume, that the kids are not in change or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I honestly like was at Quaker Steak when y'all had the comedy show. Boundaries, and it was a fussy baby in the back. And I really wanted to pick up the baby and just rock. Cause I'm a baby whisperer. I'm telling you, like, you give a baby to me, and I'm
gonna be
it's gonna be sleeping like 2.5 seconds. I kid you not.
Rosabelle, I'm letting you know she's a baby whisperer.
I am. I am. Doesn't matter what age. If they're under the age of 18, they're gonna go to sleep eventually.
that sounds like a threat.
Sitting right next to me, put her head on my shoulder, and she was asleep like in 2 minutes.
See, I go for
But
chloroform.
I was like, oh, I just want to pick up a white baby, but I'm black. Like, you know what I'm saying? I
Right.
can't just go up to a
Can I
strange
hold
white
your
baby.
I will tell you this, bringing that up, talking about personal boundaries and stuff. Like, I know that there are some black women that literally will slap a bitch for going for the hair. Like, people
Hair is
go up to
energy.
you. People
Listen.
go up to you to touch your hair. Like,
Idea.
Hair is-
I went to an all-white private Catholic college,
Oh,
and I'm
College.
all black public Baptist. So when I tell you, like, if you was black at that school, you play the sport. That's literally how white it was.
yeah.
It was like a handful of black people that went to that school for the nursing program because it was a good nursing program, period. But other than that, you play the sport.
Right.
So you had no idea how many times people literally disrespected me by touching my hair. But like,
See,
and it's so crazy because like I would wear my scarf so much, my hair scarf, that they asked me what religion I practiced because they knew what a hijab was.
I don't know where that became a
A
thing.
fascination?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know. No,
It's
no,
different.
there's always a fascination because everybody has a fascination of something that's different than them. But
Yeah.
it's not that. It's that the audacity.
Yeah.
Like, when did
But you
that
know what?
become okay to just touch people's hair?
Hair, their body, because like I've had, and I don't know if this is like a tier type of thing or whatever, but in the community or whatever, like black women are like pretty much like the blueprint. So like I'll have like white men coming up to me or whatever that's gay and like touching me or like smacking my butt, whatever, when I'm dancing, and I'm just
I don't
like,
care if you're gay. You like you're super gay. You should not be touching people.
All right, okay.
You should not be touching people like that. Like, I don't know. Yes, there's that because I felt the same way about I'm a big Egyptologist. I studied it from the time I was 16. I was fascinated with it.
Whoatologist?
That too. Egyptology. But I studied it from the time I was 16. And nothing disturbed me more than you do realize you're digging up people's ancestors out the damn grave. Yet here in America, it's illegal to do that. So why is it okay for you to go to a foreign country and dig up somebody else's ancestors if it's not okay to do that here? Like, those are the things that I want to study the
Because
culture, but not.
No, because they dig it for other reasons and just telling you that that's the reason why they're doing it, because they're
Yeah.
finding other stuff that they're not putting on display, like with the body. So we ain't gonna,
Oh yeah, no, that's a whole nother deep
man,
dive.
and that's a rabbit hole.
Look, I'll jump in there with you.
I'm making lists. We got autism. I'm
That
gonna have a
rabbit
whole
hole right
full-
there, man.
But I mean, that's the thing is it's the lack of respect even for our dead.
Yeah.
Even for your dead, you can't even respect dead bodies. Like, I don't get that. I where is it that it's okay? I don't know who said it was okay. And just to have it a social norm and have us people that have a problem with it be the crazies.
Well, it's because I'm not
Don't let
digging
us say
it
for
up to be
science.
morbid. I'm digging it up for science. You know, like that's
Like that.
that's
makes
what
a
it goes. Like it goes
difference.
back to like it
Well,
you
because you gotta think about it, like you said, for science, you have to put something that is
fits the agenda.
that people can't get attached to, like for real. They can't assess that person, because that's who they will go to complain about it. So if I put it on a fake situation or a fake person or whatever, you can complain all you want to, but I'm doing it in the name of that. So if I do it in the name of something that you can't argue with, or you can't like have a
It's
conversation
supposedly
with,
this makes
exactly,
this
like you
makes
gotta
it okay.
like it's like the Wizard of Oz. Like you have the big eye here that you talk to or whatever, but it's really the man behind the curtain. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It's really
on
that.
the bed.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God damn
That's
it,
in the
Richard.
wheel.
No.
You go out and get messing the wig.
But you're right. You're absolutely
But I mean,
right.
like if I can make you upset with something that doesn't exist physically,
Yeah.
then that can always be the bad guy, because you can't do nothing with that.
Right.
Like that's like the war on terror. Terror doesn't exist. But if I
It's-
get you
it's
to
a-
believe that it's an
yeah,
actual mission for us to do it, you know what I
I
mean?
can create that
I can
fear.
do. I
Right.
can take all the liberties I want from you in the name of the war on terror, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm
That's
trying to
why we
protect
said-
you.
No. That's why even the Knights Templar, I disagreed with what they stood for, because you went into somebody's foreign land looking for, remnants of your religion, and completely upheavaled an entire race of people.
But again, it fit their agenda.
Right. And that's why
I'm
history
on a
continues.
crusade for God. I'm on a crusade
Right.
for this. I'm on a crusade for that. If I can justify my wrongdoing of you, if I can justify my disrespect of you, then it's okay.
Right.
And this is the basis of slavery.
Yes. I
It
would
was
agree
it
with
was it
that.
was literally just like I can justify this because at that time this is what it was. No.
Didn't
no,
make it
like,
okay. Never makes
Yeah,
it okay.
it doesn't make
Never,
it okay. Like not
ever.
at all. It's like you don't get that pass.
No,
Right.
I don't think any of us should. And that's why history does keep repeating itself, is because that is the number one lesson we do not learn, is stop fucking it up. You keep doing
But it
it.
doesn't fit my agenda. I want to
Right.
be,
It's the
like I want to be
definition of
remembered.
insanity at this
Yeah.
point. And if you ask me, because
all
the
about
fact
the
that we're
hero,
gonna
right?
we're gonna keep learning these lessons until we hit another timeline, and then we're gonna learn them all over again because nobody's learning them.
I think David Banner said it, like, for me, the best. Is that everybody don't want to be free. Everybody just want their turn with the whip.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's the reason why hurt people.
Yep.
That's the reason why oppressed people.
And that's why it's never good enough. Because once you solve one problem, well, what about this? Well,
I'm
what
gonna
about
create
that?
a new one because I have to stay
Yeah.
in control.
Because I
Yeah.
think about it, we're talking about respect, right? And I hate this because this is the double standard within our cultures, was one of many. Like, for example, respect, right? Why has the culture of hip hop not changed? Extra sex, extra drugs, extra crime. And then the people who do rap about positive stuff
Real things.
don't get the exposure, the support, and
They
the
don't.
backing.
That's
But we
Well, 'cause
want
it's-
things to change, right?
'cause-
Because
because
we've
we-
always put the responsibility on an invisible person.
We don't own the record studios no more. When rap first hit the scene, it was us putting it out there. and we were selling it to radio
So
stations.
so basically we're not we're supporting ourselves because we can have whatever lane we want to. We don't
Well,
even have a
no, we-
black-owned automotive company.
Yeah, it was just that we don't own those airwaves anymore. You know what I mean? So they're not gonna play like a you know,
Oh,
a Toby on the radio.
Oh, they're gonna.
You know what I
play-
mean? They're not
They're
gonna.
gonna play the cheesy
They're gonna.
poppy stuff.
They're
that-
gonna sell the stuff like I can't remember. I think it was on one of the Chappelle skit or something. I can't remember what he did, but they were talking about like the radio stations was like, yeah, I'm not gonna put that on my station. I can only put out them either talking about sexualization, murder,
Drugs,
drugs, stuff like that. He's like, I can put that stuff on the radio, but I can't put it on TV. And it's like, so I can you can listen to it because it's
But I
going to
can't show it to
reach
you.
a broader
just can't
audience.
show
I
it
just
to
can't
you.
show it to you.
Right.
Right. I can't show you, you know, people getting robbed for their drug deals going wrong
Yeah,
and all
little
that.
Timmy mask on, mask off.
I can't show, you know, Timmy Turner with the Uzi. I can't show that, but I can talk about it. I can sing about it because it's protected by my First Amendment right to do so.
All I gotta do is make sure you're exposed to it. Pretty much.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you listen to it. Doesn't matter if
It,
see
you
it.
don't even have to be in your
Like,
car
you
to
can
hear
wear
it.
it.
You know what I
No.
mean? Like I could be walking down the street and I hear it. And that's why it's out there. That's why it won't change because it's like I can hit a broader audience with this message, and it funds.
It's
this.
all about the popular. What's popular.
It funds what I'm doing over here because these people are talking about what I'm doing here, and then this is gonna sell this, and then this is selling that. It has nothing to do with being conscious anymore. Like there's tons of conscious artists out there.
Oh yeah.
And if
for
you're
sure.
not digging for it, and it's on both sides, it's in hip hop, it's in R&B, it's in
country, all different
yeah,
genres.
it's in every genre. But the people that are the most famous are singing about the most depressing stuff, but it just has a dope hook to it.
But it's also relatable
And it
because
get pushed.
everybody's depressed and on drugs and,
But
and all that
even
stuff.
even then, it's like it's not relatable. You're making me relate to it because now this is the popular trendier thing,
All it needs is that one little thread, and it just pulls the whole garment apart.
right? Because like
it really does.
it's like did I witness some crazy stuff growing up on Buckeye on 128th Street as a 4-year-old kid? Yes, but then when I moved to the suburbs, I no longer related to that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
So, but I still heard about it in music. Even though I was no longer in that environment, no longer around those things, I was in a completely safe environment. You can leave your doors unlocked.
Yeah.
But I could still hear.
On Buckeye?
No. When I moved.
Yeah.
No, when I moved.
Suburbia.
Different when you get to the suburbs.
You know, once I moved out of that environment, I was in a safer environment, but I still heard about the things I saw.
Yep.
So I was still immersed in it, even though I was no longer physically attached to it. But then that affected me in school because now I'm walking around like I got a chip on my shoulder. You know what I mean? I gotta do
That
something.
somebody
You know what I mean?
That somebody put that
Because somebody
pressure on you.
disrespected me. You know what I mean? Because that's what I heard. I was no longer in those environments of people coming up to you and disrespecting you in the street, and then you having to defend yourself and getting that was no longer my environment.
And it is strange. I will tell
My
you.
parents moved us away from that, but why did we keep it?
No, that is
Because
the
we were
strange
listening
thing
to
is
it.
having some of that pumping through my house. Like it's my sanctuary, it's my peace. Nobody's conflicting anybody anywhere, but it's the music that the kids are listening to. So that's coming out. Like I even look at the kids like, is this really how you feel? Like you feel all this depressed and nobody understands you? Like this isn't real. Because then they start emulating the lyrics.
Yeah.
Like they've had
right.
it so bad and you haven't had it like they've had it. Like where do you get that in suburbia? We don't have to worry. We don't have bars.
You
on
didn't
our
start from the
windows.
bottom, huh? You was already here.
You can walk to Circle
The
K.
community pool's right there.
You ain't Central Air. Like, you don't even know what a box fan is.
There's the struggle right there.
No, I mean, but you gotta think about like you said, whatever. It's just entertainment, and we have not been able to separate entertainment from, real life. Like LOL Brielle, shout out to her. One of my comedian friends, whatever. She made a perfect post, and it was she was singing to FNF, and she in a whole relationship, spoiled and happy. But she's like, but I mean, it's entertainment.
catchy.
So like to think about it, whatever. Like it's so situational because I listen to WAP, I listen to Throat Baby, But just say please when you ask me to suck your dick. That's all. Like, ask my manager about it.
Respect.
Just happy when it happens. You do whatever you want. I'm just happy I'm here. I'm just here. If you want, go ahead. I ain't gonna say nothing.
The double standards that Mark was talking
Because
about.
if I say something, it might ruin it. So I'm just gonna shut the hell up.
Mark said it's been a double, it's been a
There is
sexual
no
double
right answer
standard.
there.
And we held to a higher standard. And that really does play into a lot of reasons why women are handled the way they handle. And I feel like even like if you look at the economic scale, right? The reason why women don't take accountability. What's the button? I want to hear it. There you go. Yeah, I like that. But I feel like sometimes the reason why women may not take accountability or it doesn't seem like it's because if you look at if you look at the economic poll, women are at the bottom, especially black women.
Yeah.
So you can't put me at the bottom and then want me to live the way you want me to live.
Yeah.
What is that? What, huh?
Huh?
So, yeah, I'm gonna, like, yeah. So you gotta think about it. Like even in comedy, there's nothing as a black woman that I can say that offend anybody. That's why I can talk about everything. But Tim, being a black man, can offend white and black women. You know what I mean? Like, but me, I'm like, well, how you gonna be mad at me and I'm already at the bottom? Like, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do to make me happy. Especially because you say happiness is my responsibility, so I'm gonna do whatever I want to do to make me happy.
Well, and I think that's part of that chip that people see is at the, because you are at the bottom. We're like, why are you so angry?
So crazy because I'm not angry.
I'm just saying, but that's the
But that's
impression.
especially with me being 6'1". I'm a 6'1" black woman. So yeah, I do look angry, don't I? I look very intimidating. I look scary.
Yeah. It's almost adorable. Do it again. No, but I've actually been transferred due to the fact that the angry black girl is a stereotype that people literally abuse at the workplace.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Like for real, like I had it happen to me, and I never thought it would, but it did. Like the one girl who was a crackhead, I don't care. She's a crackhead. That's why you can't work in a hospital, bitch.
Stand on that.
I'm with you. I got your back.
Talk your shit.
Because, a couple years later, it took a couple years because I was ready to laugh in her face. That's why God made me wait. But it took a couple years and she got caught and fired. But anyway, but yeah, I walked in on her saying that she was scared of me and this. And I'm like, we work in the medical field. There's nothing I can do to you.
I'm not throwing fists at you on a daily.
We on
I
camera.
mean, like, our whole exchange is verbal.
Even
Our whole like you're a nurse. I just tell you, hey,
You
the patient is doing XYZ. How are you scared of me reporting to you?
especially being the fact that anything we do in healthcare is all about protecting and securing and being
Man,
nice.
She literally, and she was a white woman, played that black angry card or whatever. And then I'm already a person that I'm not gonna let you play in my face. I will say that. So when I force people to be accountable, they don't like it. And when you don't have much experience with accountability, it will be unfamiliar and feel like an attack.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make that whole accountable.
You know what? I said the same thing though watching the Men's Health Summit is it's not that they're angry, it's that what am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to say that I enjoy having to go to court and prove that I'm a good person and I can take care of my kids? Am I supposed to say that very calmly? And why do I even have to prove that? Like
Yeah.
that's it's not anger. It's literally like if the shoe was on the other foot, wouldn't you feel the same way?
It's
you know?
almost like if you stand up for yourself, it's an attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, it happens more so, especially in the female sense. I see it as like, oh, she crazy. What? She's not crazy. She's like, you know what I mean? Like it's how can you just automatically label it that? Like,
you gotta villainize people,
right?
So that way
feel
they
better about
they don't come across as the victim you made them. That's why.
Because as I look at it, like you said, being a black male, and having that same interaction where somebody's afraid of you because of just you being you. And it's like,
and that's why I don't get that whole I'm so afraid. Like, bitch, okay. just thought about the freaking
They
police
came back
officers
up feeling
that
bad.
shot all them daggone shots in that car and said they fear for their life. First of all, if
Yeah.
you that damn scary, get another occupation. You don't have to be a police officer with your bitch ass.
Right, not with a loaded gun.
So-
in his head.
Right.
And then on top of that, like I'm just thinking like how they do weaponize that shit because like my thing is this or whatever. Like I'm not scary. You just don't understand me.
Well,
But
also,
you are
I'm
too
not here to make you
egotistic.
comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
not here to make you comfortable. That was never.
You are too, I know.
My,
You
my
look-
presence make you afraid. That's a you problem.
Yeah.
That's where I find myself struggling in my field. 'cause,
I
like,
am.
I'm a black
am.
engineer with a bunch of men.
Yeah.
You know, at that, like it's not just being black or being an engineer. I'm a female engineer in a male dominated field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it, oh man, talking to these men without trying to sound like an angry black woman, it's terrible.
But then they get to speak the way they want to speak. That's like, and it's like,
Being a female in a male dominated atmosphere, environment, occupation, or anything is always a to do because you have to fight against their ego
but
before
I
you
wanna,
get to the
I wanna
rational.
play devil's advocate because I work in a mostly female environment.
Women do it too.
And
I was
I will
saying,
tell
they
you,
just
I will
did.
tell you, I feel so bad for some of the younger guys because there's so many ridiculous cougars in my building. Like these
Nothing
poor
pretty
and
about
it's
them.
not even that these men are like hot shit. It's just that you have thirsty ass women running around in the damn building. You know, the fact that that's unprofessional, going and tee-heeing over a coworker for what? These men, there's probably about a 5 to 10% to us, you know. So we're lucky to have the IT guys that we have. We're lucky to have actual sales guys that we have. You know, we're lucky to have these men in a dominated women environment because it's got to be stressful as hell dealing with the fact that we are disagreeable all the time.
yeah,
You know?
I was a manager of a sales team or a sales floor, and it was 85% female, and I had to manage.
Managing that. I will admit,
so
I had a team of 20 I had to manage,
Yeah,
just women. And
yeah,
that's-
it was almost a 5-to-1 ratio.
But you
Yeah.
know what? I can say this though. With okay, if I had to be fair, working with women versus working with men. Like I said, with men, you gotta pass the ego before you get to the rational. Like
Right.
you really gotta break down the ego before he says, you know what, she has something I probably should listen to.
I agree.
With women, even after you write, you gotta deal with the how I'm gonna get her back. Like they vengeful when you write. You know,
Yeah.
women, but as long as you stay right, they're like, all right, well, this is just how she is. I gotta just like give up on this one. Because they're always trying to like pick at the dirt that may be on you. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
then when they
No,
see that you
and
have
that's-
nowhere to go with it.
But that's how
You know?
it was because I've been with the company for 14 years. I started as an hourly, working in production, just shooting out claims all day long, and working in that environment, and then stepping it up to supervisor as a woman and having to now be in charge of people that were my coworkers is damn hard because what the fuck do I know about the same thing they've been doing? You know, that whole spiel. So, I mean, it's also about having the ability to, under that pressure of everybody expects you to fail. So when I was as a supervisor under production, I pretty much learned all 5 departments because I had people I was managing under all 5 departments of a claim process. So at that point, I'm daring HR to move me for saying something that is a disagreeable, because that is also what you have to deal with, is being over opinionated about processes and having them shot down because what do you know? You're just a woman. And then having to then manage handicapped because the fact that now you've just been confined to this one little box, you know, that you're allowed to do as a woman, you know, or as a supervisor, but you're not allowed to actually speak out because God forbid you should offend somebody, you know. So I've done the been offensive. I've done the trips to HR and having to explain my decisions and what have you, but it's still was like, you taught me everything. Go ahead and do something, you know. But it's because I took the time and showed interest and learned how to be a valuable employee.
Oh,
You
you're
know.
right. Like for because like when I was in plasma, I literally started from the bottom. I started off donating and got all the way up into management. I'm the youngest with no degree, and I'm telling them what to do.
Right.
Like literally, my senator
And
manager would
that's
spend his
something to
first 2
be-
hours of his day with me, so he knows what to do for the other 8 hours that he's at there. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's literally how pivotal I was in my position.
Right.
Because I started from the bottom. I know how it feels. That's why like majority of the staff would tell them no, but tell me yes. Like, hey, can you stay over? Hey, can you cover this? Can you do this? Can you do? Because I would come out on the floor and actually relieve their lunches. If I know they needed a break, and I know it's busy hour, let me go ahead put a lab coat. I just didn't sit back and let y'all handle operations. I did both because I came from it.
And that's the example you want to lead by.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's important for respect and disrespect because of the fact that even in the
I think I'm about to be a boss 911. Like I think I want to like a lot of like managers
Instead of doing
really
that
don't
boss on
understand.
Instagram-
Manager rescue.
No, for real. I will tell you that it's painful at my position now to watch it at this point because even the work ethic at the time I had a whole team of different supervisors. We were all in it together, you know, and going through it together. And that was that moment. And now it's gone. Like the people that replaced them don't have the same drive, don't have the same willingness to ask the questions that need to be asked, not telling people no. Like that's important as part of leadership is being able to stand by your nose.
And also just being like, you know, at the end of the day, you want me to do this. You know, you gave me this. So how am I supposed to do both? Because you know that this helps you with your job, but my job gonna be left idle if I help you with this.
And say something.
So like, yeah, like,
Say
yeah.
something.
This is okay. If y'all just not tuning in, we talking about the mind portion. It might dip into the soul.
Yeah, I think we've melded all three of them together.
Kinda.
It kind of feels like we're melded them all together, and that's okay because part of that we talked about accountability as part of the respect.
Absolutely.
We talked about. All right.
Yeah.
So, and we talked about, but we also talked about the mind. How your
You ain't about to play my
mindset,
face.
your mindset has to be about your goals, and it's not about anybody else. It's not about anything else. You need to respect the fact that you're on a mission, and that's all that matters to you. If somebody's trying to distract you from that, that's your, as I say, that's your stiff arm, that's your elbow. You know, you literally got a mission, and that's what I try to tell my daughters is that you are. What are you trying to accomplish? That's all that matters. If somebody comes at you and say, "Hey, let's do that," no, straight ahead. You want
it's
goals?
justifiable being justifiably like secure, like you're just securing what you're doing, you know, and it's okay to be selfish. Like you're justifying being selfish.
And you know, there can be, you don't have to live a binary life.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be either or. It can be both.
I'm
So my thing is, if you want me to do something that ain't really my A, if we can do it along the way, okay, I can accommodate. But we gotta still
Or-
be at the end of this.
Or
Right.
let me just do this portion of it. And we
then
can
I'll
always
let you
come
know
back.
done.
You know, like
Right. I would agree with that.
Win-win.
yeah, because again, it's like it's justifying being selfish. Like,
Well,
I can-
and the other thing I think you had said something, Ulysses, about
My vagina.
now I feel like you just needed to put something. Where's the crickets one? I need the crickets one. There we go. No,
I'm
but
sorry, like this is just two people are too happy and go along. Too safe. I gotta go so little.
no, but I mean, you had said something to about managing your emotions. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know, you
Because
can't-
once you say something, it's say it. I don't care. Like I'm a big person. Once you say something to me, stand on that shit. Because I'm never ever gonna let it die down because you was upset or you was. I don't give a fuck. Because
You're
at the end of the
responsible
day-
for you.
Yeah. Like no, because you wouldn't let me
Check
get off of that.
yourself.
No.
check your
No.
words, check yourself,
Because
and
sometimes it be that emotion that bring out the real feelings about them. Like they really been feeling this way.
and it just built to this point, and that was what unloaded it. And I feel that same way too. I'm like, that's one of the things I've been working on this year is addressing it as it's happening.
yes,
Yeah.
'Cause-
please, please.
I'm a
Please.
big person addressing it in real time. My thing is, I'll address it in real time. I may not talk about it in real time because I need to get my emotions to a place where we can have that
Well,
conversation.
that's true.
But my
That's
thing is, I'm
true.
gonna address it in real time because one, I don't want any of the facts of surrounding situation to be lost.
Right.
So where you can tell me, oh, I don't remember, or I don't. No,
And that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
I want
I'm
to
I'm
address
gonna say
it now
I'm gonna
rather
address
than
it.
wait.
I may not talk about it, but I'm gonna address it. I'm saying, look, this is what you did. We're gonna talk about it in a minute because I need to get myself to a place where I can actually communicate.
You don't realize how helpful that is for someone like me, right? Because I don't know. I don't read social cues very well. That is part of my autism. So I might have done something. You felt a certain way about it, or even felt disrespected by it. And I have no clue that I did. So if you address it right then and there, I can at least go, oh, let me check what I was doing. Like you said, maybe you don't want to talk to me about it right now.
But
At
I
least
think it's
I'm
also-
aware of something to come.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But
Other,
I think it's
other
also
than that, I'm,
important to when you're addressing it, not to be accusatory,
That's also
Yeah.
true. That's a big
Yeah.
one,
because
too.
that's how misconception
Yes.
is burst. And now you're not talking about the
Well, yeah, we
problem.
talked
You're
about
ta-
communication and
Right.
translation.
right.
And it's hard
Yeah,
to come
because
back
have you ever
from
been at a
that.
barbecue and you ask somebody, hey, you want a hot dog or hamburger? And they say yes.
Right. Like, yes,
Okay,
what-
now
what you-
I do that just to be funny because I'm smart ass, but
And you want both.
I say yes because I want both.
so I have that. I have that problem. Again, this goes back to my neurodivergent because you asked me a question. I'm taking the last thing you said as yes. That's the answer.
I feel
Right?
you on that.
So then you're looking at me like, no, which one? And I was like, I
Exactly.
just answered you.
right, because that was the last thing you
said.
said.
Because you said or.
It will be very
be very
different.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you said
for
or
sure.
this, and I'm like that one.
Like I never understood
know,
people who
like-
answer yes to an either or question. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
no, and it's just
But
for
it's 'cause-
me.
But
It's
that's-
just me. Being,
I
heard it
want
a
both.
different way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I heard it
And that's
as you
why-
were asking me this or that, and I said that instead of going, no, I'd like a hot dog. You know what I mean? Like,
And, but you know what? It's the level of what you give a fuck.
Right. That's
Will
true, too.
have you either explain thoroughly so there's no misunderstanding, or ask to be like corrected or like clear because you want to establish an understanding.
Yeah.
But that's because the level of you treat that exchange. Like if I don't care about Tim and he just says something I don't understand, like whatever, I don't care about what you said anyway.
right.
You know what I'm
right.
saying? But if I care about Tim, I'm like,
You
oh,
want that?
what you saying? Like,
Yeah, that,
hold on, what
you
need?
need clarity.
Like,
what- right.
I want
You know what I'm
both. That's what I needed. I want both.
Well, I was also thinking, it goes back to the simplicity of like even how you want your chicken cooked. Because I know there's people that will be like, "Oh, you want a piece of barbecue chicken?" Yeah, and they'll be like, "I can't eat that. Like, it's not even cooked enough," and judging the food. But then you feel a certain way because they ain't eating your chicken and you offered it to them. Well, that's because you're not understanding
See,
the
that's why I
fact
don't
that
eat meat.
Ooh,
We ain't
There
gotta
are
have that
some
problem.
people who like their chicken. I want it burnt. If it's
Oh,
fried, I
yes.
want it over.
Well
Right.
done, yeah.
But
I
that's
want
also
that
on the person to
You know,
say, "Hey, can you
You
leave it
gotta
on the
let me know,
grill?"
though.
long?"
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So there, speaking of as an example, and shout out to Emily, Ebony Timberlake.
Okay.
She literally, we were out last summer doing our girls' night on my back porch, and I always cook my steaks medium, like rare medium. They're no pinger. She didn't like it, so what does she do? She's sitting there eating all around the pieces that are raw. She went and stuck it right back on the grill because she didn't
Ain't
want it
nothing
that
wrong with
raw.
Yeah,
And she didn't say nothing. She just kept eating. You know, that's how you handle.
that's true. She
the-
can't get mad at you because she ain't tell you she
no,
don't like her steaks
no.
like that.
And I gave her opportunity to do what she needed to do to feel better. She didn't make a big deal out of it.
And
She
that's what I'm
didn't
saying, like, it's
go
not no
get
big
loud
deal.
about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's when you over.
Steaks sound good.
They do.
Doesn't it? I don't think there's ever a
But
time
no,
I don't
have
like
you?
steak.
Did you think about like okay? Think about how many times people was mad at you, and then think about how many times it was valid.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's the and that's part of healing too. That is part of healing too. Is I always say it's harder to face yourself on these things and admit those truths. Like, why are we? Like, I will even do that. Why are we being bratty right now? Why am I?
Oh, my best friend Jasmine.
You know, why am I doing this right now? Maybe am I hungry? Like, what am I doing?
check in?
Am I
Yeah,
hungry?
yeah.
I was with my friend Jasmine and we was getting into it. She was driving me home and I got out the car and started walking. And it's like 2:00 in the morning. And she's right beside me. She's a Cancer. Let me put that out there. She's a Cancer. You know,
Don't
Cancer
be blaming that on her zodiac.
I got to. I got to. You know, Cancer-
Emotional.
for that. And
I don't know.
I
It's
kid you,
hard
I
to
will
say shit
never,
too, so I can't really say that.
I will never forget this. She was like riding beside me or whatever, and she's still going on with the argument. I'm ignoring her. And all I heard was, and I'm yelling at you, and I'm sorry. Just get it back in the car. Like, just get back in the car. Like,
Right?
when you yell at somebody and apologize right after, like, you know, like they're mad, but they really care about you. Like,
Right. and that's also a way for you to gauge: is it a mistake or is
That's
it
why I was like, you know what?
habitual behavior? Like,
Like,
if
let me
you
put
didn't
my
know that was going to bother
ego
me,
aside,
that's
yeah.
what.
Ego aside, like at the end of the day, you give a fuck, and that's
Yeah.
and that's another thing. Like me and my one best friend, shout out to Keisha. Me and her, we have
Hey,
like
Keisha.
different disagreements quite often. But we care about each other to where it's like, you know what, it's cool, like my bad, or you know what I'm saying, it'd be straight like that because I care about our friendship more than I care about
Well, you
being right.
respect each other.
You know,
Yes.
I care more about her than I care about looking good.
Yeah.
I care more about her than maybe being wrong about something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
You respect and value her as a person, so
Absolutely.
you can go, yeah, maybe I was coming off a little harsh. Maybe I didn't fully understand where you coming from. Maybe you don't understand where I'm coming from. But at the end of it, we still rock together. You know what I mean? And
Well,
it's like,
and you're going to have bloopers in your relationships.
and
We
no
all
one
do.
man is an
Ain't
island.
nothing
I'm
perfect.
telling you right now, everybody in your life for a reason, and they have a position to play.
Absolutely.
Whether you like them or you don't like them, whether you agree with them or you don't.
Absolutely.
I have a Trump supporter as a friend. No, I'm
I
serious.
might actually too.
No, I like invited me to a rally type supporter.
It's no longer about having white friends and black friends, folks.
No,
It's about
bro, you like
having-
Trump? You like
it's
Trump
over.
though?
It's over. We're
I don't
done.
know, man.
We've
I don't
been
know.
friends for
It's
20
so crazy.
years. I'm
Listen,
done.
and I
I'm
asked her, I said,
over.
so you want me to come to a rally and I'm black? She's like, it's not there black people there? And I'm like, all right. Okay. She's like, this girl was like they treat it more like a getaway than I'm like, cause no,
What
they
is-
go out there.
wait,
The
wait,
rally,
what
the
does
rally
that
be like
mean,
on
though?
a Saturday or something like that.
Like
They go
how-
out Thursday in the city.
How are they roping black people in now?
Listen, it's a girls trip.
Like, look, last time I went out with y'all.
That ends me at a
I
rally.
blinked, we did shots, and we ended up at a Trump convention. Like, what the fuck? I'm never hanging out with
Listen.
you girls again.
Next thing you know, I'm on the auction block. Nah, see, we already went through this. We already went through this.
And then she's so cool. And she's like, yeah, we go to the gun range. I'm like, ooh, gun range with Trump supporters.
See, and then y'all
Am I
gonna
the
paint it
target?
all on me because I ain't got like.
Next thing we know, we're taking up a collection for you, Lee. She ended up in jail.
I ain't got CCW and I was holding the gun after they shot it. No.
No, but I mean, like, she really, really cool. And that's the thing, like, I literally have so many different, like, people who I'm cool with from different backgrounds. And I say cool because I do have a multiple friends. Don't get me wrong. Like, everybody's like, you ain't have that many friends. I probably have at least on the upper side of 15 friends. Like, I got it down to a strong 7 for those real, like, you know, those flat tire friends. What you call them? Strong 7 still. And not because of so much of what they could do for me, but what I'm willing to do for them. That's also something that people don't look at. Like,
Oh,
you
I totally
saying
believe
this-
in the whole bullseye
what you mean?
friendship. Have you ever heard of the bullseye friendships? What it is?
Enlighten me.
It's a target. Think of a target for
Okay.
darts. Your center
I
is
thought you
your.
said for darks. I'm like, oh god, it's that Ruth.
They have those two guys. It's in the stores now. It's totally in stores now.
I'm like for darks. Fuck.
No,
And she
but
said it.
you start out with the bullseye.
Okay.
Those are the people. Those are your ride or dies.
Yeah,
Those
oh,
are the
yeah, yeah.
ones that know you to your
Yes.
core. And then the outer circle, and that's why I always tell people when they're confused as to when their friendships or their social life gets chaotic,
Mm-hmm.
you have to sit down and put your people in
You
their
do.
rings.
Yeah.
Right.
Because and I've even moved close people in
Realistically,
my
though.
circle in my bullseye have moved out a couple of rings. You shift them all the time. And you have to keep your head organized onto who is what, because then you're just blasting your business to every godforsaken
But not
person
only that, or
calls themselves-
dependent on somebody to do something that they're
Right.
not capable of.
Right.
Whether from resource or just mentality.
Mentally.
Right.
Yeah. So like for real, like you, and that's why I say it's more important for you to look at what you're given to of a situation more so what you're getting from, because a lot of people don't understand like why I'm like either cool with this person or like not cool with that person or like how I move, and I'm like, because you got to understand, I know and I have a good level of discernment on who wants the benefits of me versus
Yeah.
the responsibilities of me. So
That's a good
those who
way
are
of
the benefits are definitely on that
Yep.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, when I have a good time, I have a good time. Like, when you see me, you see me.
Right.
But the people who take me, Ulysses, as a
As I say,
responsibility,
my village.
Right.
yeah.
They
My
right
village.
here.
When you take me and all that I bring to the table,
You had your water
literally.
today?
Huh?
You had your water today?
I did have my water today.
The
I
best
told
of
you
your
I
water
didn't
is mine. Oh,
Essential water.
Wait. Are you guys accountability partners for real?
Not for real.
For real? Because you almost
We've been fumbling around, but like for almost a year now.
Because I did tell Rosabelle I need you to be my accountability partner.
That's me
'cause
and Tim.
sometimes I just need somebody to kick me in my ass and say, "Do it."
But Tim
Yes.
too nice. I'm the
No.
bad cop in this
we,
exchange.
we were
Yeah.
trying, but
You just
I'm
ain't got the
nice
bad
about
copy
it.
yet. You just ain't got the bad copy.
Tim, I need
No,
you to
let me
wheel out
bounce
that
back
bad
from
cop
this.
for me, okay?
I got you.
No, for real, because like you be playing. Like we'll talk about this later though.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how to, like I'm a little darker, so that's probably why. Like, you know.
I don't know if you made a smart choice.
My mama took all my angry anger.
No, but no, I mean, you gotta like look at it like when you talk about respect, right? And you have like these different exchanges with people. Like I said, like they're either a blessing or lesson. But are you respecting
What's up,
the
Dilly?
time, the situations, and the environments of people that you're responsible for? Because
Right.
I want to leave people better than how I found them. And sometimes you are literally
That's
the only
my philosophy
hope,
too.
the only little fresh air, the only sigh of relief. Just saying hello, good morning, how you doing? You know what I mean?
And it could be. You never know if that person's in their thoughts and that just woke them out of their thoughts so they could focus on their day.
Yeah.
You don't know. And one of the things that I've learned, and that's why I treat people the way I do, is people misjudge and discredit me all the time because I look a certain way or I have a certain perception. I have this perception and people don't know. I'm not from Cleveland. I was not grown here, did not raise here.
Was not grown.
How long you been here?
I've been here 14 years.
Where are you from?
That's a good question. So
You were kidnapped?
no, I'm a military brat. So I was born in California, moved to Michigan, moved to Arkansas, moved to Washington State, moved to Michigan, moved to Ohio. So my how I treat people is because I was the new kid all the time. And you're not just the new kid all the time, you're the new military kid. So like you're picking up right in the middle of people's childhood where you have no idea where they were, how they grew up together, and you're trying to establish friendships with people that already have friendships. So you're always going to be the odd man out. And
Always
that's,
trying to prove yourself. Always trying to be let in.
you
always
want to
try-
you want to fit in so you acclimate to what they're doing. Doesn't necessarily mean it's your perception or how you feel about the world, which I didn't even learn how I felt about the world till I was, well, let's be frank, 45.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I stopped playing the game, stopped playing
People
the
pleasing.
yeah, that's when I
That's
made
a
that
hard thing to
change.
kill sometimes.
Especially when you work in the area of service and
Oh,
to be
yeah,
quite
that is
honest,
true.
you're placed on this earth to serve.
Yep.
But the thing about it is whatever, it's a fine line of being useful and being used.
I agree.
I don't mind being useful. Absolutely. I have no mind
Bend
being
over
useful.
backwards to do that.
But being used,
Yeah.
I got a little bit
And
of
that's
issue.
where that's where I was saying even these podcasts that I've been doing, the reason I'm doing them is because literally, and I even said I'm scared to death to see, well, I was scared to death with the accountability one, but I'm really scared to death with the conditioning one because
That's gonna be a whole different animal.
because that's
Which one?
conditioning. So the whole topic of conditioning is how we're born in what we're born into,
Oh.
how we perceive the world from the very beginning changes how we interact with the world. So that scares me to death because every podcast I've had, speaking of water, she said she had her water. Look at her.
No, I dropped it in the car. I thought it was gonna be water up here, and I brought apple juice and I drank it in anticipation that Red Line Radio was gonna have some damn water when I got up here.
I'm
Brought
sorry.
water to Red Line, and I ain't even got no daggone water.
I wanted to take a bath in
You know
spring
what? I
water.
had to talk to man, something like that.
Hello, manager.
Bullshit.
Wait,
I am a white woman in America.
Dear Mr. Marriott.
you do that too well. I'm scared.
I thought I went to an all-white college. Like, girl, please.
I learned some things.
These are braids.
There's a reason why they're blind.
13 bust down.
I got a question for y'all. Because we're talking about respect, and I don't know, something that came to my mind is like, how do you demand respect? You know, we are professionals. You know, how do you demand respect?
I will literally decide on if you exist in my world or not. That's how I demand it. Because if you're not gonna respect me, you don't exist. So however you have to walk that off.
So the way that I demand respect is how I talk to you. If you're not talking to me in the same tone, you decide how we're gonna act. Because I'm coming at you with how I want to be treated.
Mhm.
So if you're not giving me the same energy back, then I'm gonna give you what you're giving me. But I always start out giving you the benefit of the doubt that you're gonna come at me with the same respect that I'm coming at you. And everybody gets a fair chance coming at you. First impressions, I do believe, are very important.
Mhm.
You can never come back from a bad first impression. Never.
You can't, because it's people today that I played ball with in college that still remember me coming down the Canton and falling down every stair and popping up saying, "Hey, release."
How long ago was
I'm glad I'm
that?
not
I
the
got
only one with
recruited, I
the
know,
story.
right?
Okay.
I got recruited for basketball, and this is like 05. And so I go to our first team dinner, first ever. Like, it's the first time everybody's meeting me or whatever since signing my letter. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like down in the basement, and I like literally from the top of the stairs fell down all
How
of them.
high were your heels?
I had on flats. Like, I literally just like all the way down, like,
Ulysses,
and I
you're my
jumped up and was
spirit
like, "Hey,
animal.
release."
You are totally my
They,
spirit
they
animal.
probably like,
Yep, that happened
man,
to me
we just signed
freshman
her. She
year."
gonna be dropping every pass.
That is
Can't
so
pass
funny.
her the ball for nothing. She gonna trip over her feet. Man, what you doing, coach?
I'm an asshole since birth, so I know that my name, like Ulysses, is not gonna be something that people get off the bat. So I try to be memorable by doing something crazy to you.
I was
So like I walked up like to this
one.
one dude one time, and he was like, "Hi, you know, this is such and such." I was like, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" And I walked up to him, rubbed my hand down his chest, and then was like, "Oh, I can feel your heart." And so,
So
he-
I'm gonna write the book of 101 things
Yes.
not to do, and Ulysses is going to write the book on
1,000 things I did do. 1,000 things I did. I'm telling you, like, I know, like, even
Get out the situation.
Kevin Hart. I met Kevin Hart at the, I still call it the Gun Arena, and y'all ain't gonna change it. I met Kevin Hart at the Gun Arena. And I'm tall, of course, whatever. And so I hugged them and kind of like almost like went to pick him up. And I was like, "Oh yeah,
no,
you're a grown man. I
not-
forgot." And so like,
No.
so like now he, yeah.
You know he talks about that
Mhm.
all the time.
All
And
the
so I'm
time.
gonna do it to him.
He was like, "Bend down, you're making me look small." Like, so I have literally done very outlandish things to people just so they remember me. They may not remember my name, but they're gonna remember that tall girl.
No, I will tell you, pretty much any interaction with me is a toss of the dice, for real. It could be an adventure. It could be a
I'm a
hot
sour patch
mess.
kid.
It would literally.
No, for real, because first I'm sour, then I'm sweet. Like, I was the type of person, like, I was a bully. Like, but I wasn't, like, I hate how bullies are nowadays. Y'all ruined it. But I was a bully.
It's like y'all really mean.
No, y'all really
Like, we
ruined
need
it.
to talk, Ulysses.
Listen,
There's
I'm not doing it the right
nothing
way.
fun about being bullied in school.
So I was a bully back in the day, but I was a bully that would knock the books out your hand, get a laugh, and then help you pick them up. Like, I was one of them. Like, I wasn't the bully that you wanted to like go home and slit your wrist. Like, I wasn't one of them. You know what I'm saying? I was like the one that just
No,
like
I just
kind of
wanted to learn
pranked
how
and
to
played
fight
around.
so I could punch him in the face. 'Cause I don't know why people
I
want
never
to
had
pick
nobody
on
want to
me.
fight me. I had nobody.
I don't-
That's actually how I got all my friends. It's fucked up. I bullied all of my friends into being my friend.
How do you think I became her accountability partner? She bullied me, guys.
She stood
Like-
above you.
No, it's so sad because I'm thinking about how many times like I have intimidated grown ass men.
No,
Like-
I think it's funny because like especially I think you're probably shorter than me, or maybe we're the
Maybe.
same height. I don't know.
I'm not
but
that tall.
but like for me, because my son's like 6'1",
Okay.
so for me to be intimidating, I have to hop. Like, he thinks it's the funniest thing because I'm like, I'm gonna get at your eye level. I'm gonna get at your eye level, and he thinks that cracks him up. So I try to bump him because I am, you know, He's been like that since he was 16 years old.
Yeah, that's definitely different in cultures. My mom didn't jump. She made me come down to her.
For sure. And I've heard
That
that
ear still works.
some of the moms I knew in the Black community would get the stepping stool.
Nah, it wasn't none of that.
All black
The
moms.
Michigan Black
I'm
community.
telling you right now, I don't know what's in the DNA. Maybe it's the Eve gene. I don't know. But a black mom has a weird way of literally breaking you down with a look.
Man,
If you are black, you know what that look
No,
is.
No, the look worked for me. It didn't work for my
You can
brothers.
literally be like, I know how y'all like be
don't
having
work
them
for my
kids that
son
be throwing
right now,
stuff
Lord
through the
Jesus.
store and acting crazy, running around, playing, just doing the most whatever, and y'all have to chase after them or you have to call after them, right? A black mom could look at their child
No, I
and
actually,
they literally were like,
some of
"All
my
right, you're right. I'm
babysitters,
tripping."
some of my babysitters were like that. And even with my kids, when I took them to babysitters and stuff, we would have phenomenal conversations because she would have me cracking up at that look.
Because
Yeah,
the look-
all the daycare
that's
kids
me.
got that look.
No, and you
Like-
think about it, whatever. Like, if you had that look as a child, that's why I don't like these black men out here playing in people's faces because you knew when she looked at you, you was caught.
Yeah.
You know that you was doing something that you probably shouldn't be doing. So if your mama could look at you and you're wrong, and I'm talking to you about how you wrong me, how the fuck is it a disconnect?
Yeah.
You
No,
know what the fuck you
like I
was
said,
doing, my
the
dude.
look- The look worked for me. My brothers, on the other hand, this is where I get my boxing skills from. It's not from my dad. It's from my mom. She got the quickest hands in the Midwest. I swear to God.
Oh, God.
So that right there, I respected my mom. I never wanted to do anything to disrespect my mom. Cause again, I seen what she did to my brothers. Right?
My mom is the tallest, and she's 5'4".
Oop.
So me being 6'1", I had an aunt who was 4'10". Yeah, I was her favorite niece because I was the biggest. So when you talk about like little, but they were some little gangsters.
They man,
My oldest,
I don't
my
mess
oldest
with
aunt,
nobody
she
under
could bench
5'5",
press-
man.
Bench press 300 pounds because they was little, but they knew they was little, so they would fuck you up just if
Like
you thought
those-
it was gonna be sweet.
It's like it is like those little dogs that think that they're the big
Nah, I don't
dog.
mess with
But
nobody
y'all think
under
about it, I was
5'5".
raised from the land of Lilliput.
Not
For
doing
your
it.
old scooters, land of Lilliput. If you know, you should know what Lilliput is. I was raised in that land, so that's why when I did grow 6 inches before high school, I didn't always think like, okay, because you bigger than me, you could. No, I didn't. No, I knew I had hands. That's why I'm about to
Yeah.
whoop your ass. I never depended on my height for shit.
I had to
Like I
survive.
was small too, my nigga. Like, no,
I had to
You ain't
survive.
seen my ancestors cross the seas there.
listen.
I'm the small one.
But no, I mean,
No, I think it is true that part of our how we perceive respect also comes from our start. Because I will tell you, not in my home. It was you're raised military, you respect. I don't care if they have a
Oh,
problem
baby.
with you.
I had a military father, Air Force.
Don't, yeah, both of mine Air Force.
Really?
Yeah, we raised ourselves because they had war games at the same time. They're both my dad worked the flight line and my mom worked training, and they would have war games, and they'd be out at 2-3 o'clock in the morning till 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And my sister and I had to get ourselves up for school. We had to go to school. We had to get our all of
That's
that
what I
at
don't
like 8 years
understand.
old. We had to do all of this.
That's what I don't understand. Like, okay, I kid you not. I ain't gonna say her name. My sister.
She didn't
was
technically
raised-
say her name.
What's the number of that bus?
But no, that's what I don't understand about like kids now. Whatever. Like, do you know how much responsibility we had growing up that wasn't repeated daily? Like you just knew. At
Like
this
it was
time,
expected of you.
you had
It
X,
wasn't-
Y, Z
yeah,
done,
There
and
wasn't.
there was no repeating. It was low. You
didn't
knew.
have a reason. There
Right.
was no excuses. It was like I said.
Do it, get it done.
I
It
will
better be
tell
done.
you one of the things that Miss Roosevelt did for me is she gave me a shadow workbook. I haven't touched it since first parts because the first 2 that I did scared the shit out of me, brought memories back from like when I was 5 years old. Shit just was happening back then that set the tone for why I react to things the way I react to them now. So that's why I haven't touched it again, because it scared the shit out of me, because I haven't thought
It's
about
all right,
that
take
in
your
like,
time, take your time.
you know, I haven't thought about that stuff since I was a kid, you know, and looking at it from a different perspective now and realizing that it wasn't, that was just the way things grew. No, that shit was real. Like it really impacted me at 5 years old.
You got to think about it, like when you don't have a childhood that is like your typical,
You don't have,
you know,
well, you have
childhood,
just,
like-
it isn't a childhood.
but
It's
and
it's
then
learning how to
have-
be an adult.
But you think about like I'm sorry, like anybody that was raised in any type of military background on any level, whether it was active duty or whatever, you might want to have some therapy. Because I feel like anybody who raised, no, I'm serious. Anybody who's raised with a military parent, they don't understand processing your emotions. Because in the military, you don't have time for that. Because like if they bust in right now, they can kill you. Forget how you feel. Forget being sleepy. Forget none of that. You have to literally be a machine and just go do.
And that's how they teach your children.
Absolutely. I had to talk at 4. Like I was cooking since I was 4.
When
Like-
when we would go, even when we went on vacation and stuff, we were up at 3 o'clock in the morning because that was what time my dad wanted to leave for a trip. So you had dead sleep.
Yeah.
You could sleep in the car.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
basically.
Oh, and then if you was angry or you felt, you shouldn't feel like that, or you shouldn't be like. I literally.
You better
That's why.
check your tone.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, that is such a big trigger for me. Like even now, I'm trying to.
I'm not
How
trying
do
to
you
upset
tell
you.
somebody that they can't feel some type of way? Now, realistically, don't get me wrong. Logically, emotionally, I can feel however the fuck I want to feel. Logically, you can't do nothing about it. Okay, feel that way, but don't stay there too long, whatever. But like, come on, like you know what I'm saying? But they don't know those two extremes. There's no middle ground for them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I can't stand for a motherfucker to tell me how I should feel. I don't care if I can't. I can be pissed off and still not be able to do nothing about it, but I can be pissed off.
So guess what, guys? We are at the end.
God damn it. And we ended up so angry.
Damn.
I want to be.
It was 4 minutes.
I feel like passion is not anger.
No,
All right.
it's not.
No,
That's why
it's
I
not.
said, even watching like the men's summit, there was you would have
We didn't even
taught
get
by
it.
their tones.
We didn't even get a chance to talk about how you disrespect men and women, though. I don't like that.
Maybe we'll talk about
Because I ain't got to be a bitch because I don't want to give you my number. That's all I'm saying. And no, women, you are not okay to just touch a man just because he's a man and you're a woman. Like, you
Man.
can't just be up
Just
here
'cause you got
groping.
on them
Let's lead
gray
with that.
sweatpants
Let's
that
definitely
days.
lead with that.
Yeah,
Let's not put
don't
our
I
hands
think
up.
she meant like physically hurt him.
And you should put,
So I'm like,
and don't get me wrong. I don't care if a man is raised not to put his hands on a woman. You still, as a woman, should not be hitting no man.
No.
no, you shouldn't.
Like, I ain't gonna lie, because if I have, like, my nephew, like, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't say hit that girl back, but shake the fuck out of that hoe.
Well, I think even Lex posted something about at one of his comedy shows. Some chick just walks up to it. puts
I was
her
standing
boobs
right
on.
there. Yeah, I was standing right there.
Like, why would you just think that it's okay to walk up to a man and just throw your boobs on him? Like, why?
Because they boobs? 'Cause it's a man?
Yeah, because men have
Or-
sexualized boobs, and I wanted that, so I'm gonna go throw my boobs on him and claim it. Like that makes.
My sensory.
Let's keep our hands to ourselves, ladies. That's the message
I'm not ready.
there.
I'm not-
Let's keep our hands to ourselves. If you feel you need to touch, get permission first.
Definitely.
We ask the guys to get permission first. It works
should
both
reciprocate.
ways.
And just because he had on gray sweatpants, his eyes is up here, ladies.
Yeah. right? We may want what we want, but that doesn't mean we have to be disrespectful about it. And anyway, all right. So first, I want to talk about the next women's summit will be in a couple of weeks. We are doing another men versus women because I loved how the first one turned out, and I just want to keep
That's
it
fun.
going. And so the questions that we had left over for that summit will go into the new summit, and there will be a whole new set of questions added to the jar. So we will answer the questions that we get to, and if we don't get to them all, they will carry over to November, folks. So that is coming up on October 15th from 1 to 3. We have a whole new panel. I will be announcing that soon. I am just finishing up with the women. I have one more woman slot for some special lady that wants to pull and be honest about her feelings. So if that's
What
you,
happened?
oh, you want to be that one? It's on the October 15th.
I might be able to swing.
Okay, that might be a good. Okay, we'll talk.
That's gonna be a good show.
We'll talk.
Is the men versus women?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to talk to men.
No,
You can put me in.
Oh,
there's no
hey.
Coach.
I got hacked. Don't worry about it.
I do want to announce
That was AI. That was AI.
that wasn't me.
That's AI.
I'm on strike.
That was the character. That was the character.
I'm still on that. I didn't do that.
So our phenomenal woman of the month is Angela Davis. She is a big civil rights activist. I pulled her because I think all of us
Iconic Angela.
should. Yes, she is a badass woman. And respectful, but she definitely has what we call gumption. Is probably the best word. I get chills just thinking about all the amazing, just the audacity she had and the bravery she had. She didn't give one shit about nothing. She had a message, she had a mission, and that's all it was about. And that's why she is our phenomenal woman of the month. Her quote was, "I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept." And I think all of us could take a note out of that particular quote, that it's not about changing our world. It's about, we don't like it, so let's do something different. And I think if all of us did that, we'd be in a much different world and a much different timeline. So with that being said, I want to give you guys one more time to let everybody know what you're up to. If there's any shows, any events that you guys are doing that they can see you at, by all means, shout it out. Josh, you want to go ahead?
Just since this is the Women's Health Summit in November, we're doing a women's self-defense seminar at my gym.
Righteous.
You have a gym?
Yeah.
Like, is your gym?
Yeah. I do
That's
martial
amazing.
arts training, boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. So we're doing a women's self-defense seminar in November. I don't have all the details just yet, but when I do, I'll definitely let you guys know about it.
Where can we find you?
You can find the everything on Instagram under Relentless Dragons with a Z MMA. That's the striking portion of it, and Zenith Ohio Jiu-Jitsu. That's where you can find that on Instagram. That's where you'll see most of that stuff at. Like I said, anything else, that's all character work. Strike King _ KJE. That's where you see all my pro wrestling stuff, all those shenanigans. Other than that, I don't really have too much going on because my schedule just emptied out. This is the last thing
I
on
don't
my
want you to
schedule.
think that we're not getting even jinx this right now.
It's the last thing on my schedule until October. So I'm chilling for like the next week, and then my birthday's coming up. So
Woo! When is your birthday?
I'm 3rd.
October
October
3rd.
Yeah.
Happy early birthday.
So that's
Definitely.
that's the next agenda, but I ain't doing nothing. I'm just
Just getting older.
Yeah. right.
Just
Not doing
celebrating.
nothing.
Just getting better.
Okay.
What do you call it, Roosevelt? Your return?
Oh, solar return.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So happy solar return. How
Keep
about
learning
you?
stuff.
I know, right?
Shout out to your set, Jen.
My shit. Never stop learning.
It was a big ass smile for me. Like, if I was close to her, she'd have fist bumped me.
Air fist pump. I told you, I am the whitest black person you will ever meet. I am the
The
token.
whitest black person, the blackest white person.
No. See, now you're changing it up on me. Now you're changing it up. Now I gotta think about that.
She
See,
Angela
I
Davis.
have totally had confidence in my answer.
Well, you
No,
know,
I
that's
don't.
my fault. Yeah, I started twisting.
So what's coming up for you, Ulysses?
Oh, I have a couple things coming up. You can follow me on Instagram under _EULISE DICKERSON. That's Ulysses Dickerson. I'm the only Ulysses Dickerson on social media, period. My Instagram is public. My Facebook is private. I ain't gonna lie to
And
y'all.
you will wait for days, years, months, centuries before she will accept your friend.
It gotta be a
request.
background
I'm
check.
just-
I gotta ask 4 mutual friends of ours.
Do you know this person?
You can't even request me without mutual friends.
You can follow me on there. I have a birthday show coming up on the 6th. I was inquired about the 1st. That hasn't been confirmed, but I have a huge event. Please come out to the LaSalle Theater
Yes,
on October
folks.
14th. It is Curve the Runway 4. It's a fashion show, but it's
I
also
know.
an adult prom.
It's
So from
so-
5 to 7, it'll be the adult prom. We'll have, drinks and everything because it's sponsored by Remy. So all the
Okay.
guests will have a free drink on Remy Martin. Additional drinks
She's
can
gonna
be
make
purchased.
sure that man has to
Um,
pay.
And so
I can't come.
why you can't come?
I'm gonna be here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sucks to be you. Anyway, what were you
And
saying?
then there's a fashion show right after. But no, at the LaSalle Theater, it's gonna be like literally like if for my grown and sexy. If y'all looking for a great night out, like
No,
when
this
you've
is a
been
good
sitting on
event,
that
guys.
outfit,
This
listen,
is-
y'all been
listen.
sitting on that outfit
all
all
these
summer.
beautiful people are gonna be at this
Listen,
place. You got to
if you ever want to get into that outfit you've been sitting on, if you ever want to redo your prom, if you ever just wanted to say, you know what, babe, we ain't really not on one of them nice fancy dates where I can come back home and bust in the door, kissing you, busting you down or whatever on one of them sexy type shits on my grown and sexy type.
Well,
This
you
is
know,
the- I'm telling you,
this is the
This is-
anniversary
this
event of the year.
October. Saturday, October 14th. Be at the LaSalle Theater at 5:00. Especially if
Oh
you're
my
single,
God.
because again, it's a fashion show and prom.
I'm calling off.
It's literally no, I'm serious. Like you think about it, it's a fashion show and prom.
It's like I can't.
The very
I
next
can't
week.
make it in.
It's Sweetest Day. Like get your sweetie at the LaSalle Theater.
Don't take any pictures with Tip.
Listen, I know, right?
He calling
He
up.
wasn't there. He wasn't
not
even there. I don't know where he was. But no, Saturday, October 14th, LaSalle Theater, 5:00. Be there, dressed in your
Be
best.
there.
I'm telling y'all, like at least very minimum date night attire. You know what I'm saying? Because it is gonna be filmed. So we're asking all of our guests to dress up because it's gonna be filmed and you don't want no eye
How
stories in
often
the
do
background.
you guys get dressed up?
So,
really?
I'm just
I mean,
saying.
come on.
It's fun to get dressed.
And
up.
you
It's
have
good to get
you
dressed
have a
up
nice
every
amount of
once in a while.
time. Fashion Nova, Sheen, like all that stuff. Like
And you,
literally-
if you need
can't
any
fit
personal
those.
training so you can fit into, I can.
exactly. You got a gym, but I mean, okay.
Yeah, like,
I like private training whatever because you know.
Oh my God, we can
Come
get you
on over
professional.
here.
Yeah, see, she's gonna
I
get
got
you.
you.
a
Okay, so
picture
listen, you
taken.
got that's gonna get you in shape for the event, and then you got Miss Rosabelle that's gonna, go ahead and get you hands with the pictures.
She's gonna make you
The
glam.
love story never ends. So this is how it started, October 14th at the LaSalle Theater at 5:00.
That's what you're gonna be telling your babies.
Curved the One Way Forward.
That's where you're.
Powered by Remy Martin.
That is
Hosted by
where
Micah Dixon.
your
Come on,
forever
man.
is at. You just know it's for your.
And
for your
iHeartRadio
forever.
gonna have you on the red carpet. Like, come on, now.
Let's
Like
do it.
you
I'm really calling off.
Kirby CEO.
How about you, Rosebell? What you got going on?
Let's see. All right, y'all. I'm Rosabelle. I know y'all know me already because we done did the introduction at the beginning of the show because my mind was just somewhere else. But I ain't got a lot going on. But we doing some spooky pictures for this season because it is fall.
Nice.
It's Halloween. Trying something different. We doing outdoor in your costume. You got a costume? Let's take some pictures. Like, yeah, doing it nice. Nice scenery,
See, those,
nice
those
outdoor.
the gears are turning
aurora.
in
It's the
Ulisa's
aura, I
face
guess.
right
So,
now. She got something in
you got
mind.
something?
I'm telling you, I did a comedy and
We got
lingerie
this.
show,
We can do
and
this.
then I did a Halloween show, and I got an outfit from the Halloween show that I still have not worn.
What?
Yeah,
So see, you ain't wear the outfit. You can put the outfit on.
this
Come
year.
on, get some pictures.
Yeah, I'm a superhero, so I want to be a
That's even
supervillain. We
better.
go down in the flats. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Do a little
even better.
cake.
Yep.
You definitely need a
outdoor,
cape
yep.
if you're going down. To
Oh
the
yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that superhero on the flats.
The flats got nice places to
do.
take some pictures.
When it
at,
ain't on
so-
fire.
Okay. But that's all I got going on. Yep, I'm Rosabelle. You can find me on all social media at Yep, I'm Rosabelle. And my thing always and forever will be is that you are worthy. Don't forget that shit.
Oh, I like that.
And I am Jessica Steffes, been your host.
tell my
Thank
boss
you
that.
again for joining us. And Tim, there is just one thing you got to do for me.
Sudsy.
All right, take us out.